Chapter 58, Chapter 55, Interrogating the Corrupted Souls. When Jojo heard the name of the demon he had seen in the vision, he frowned in deep thought, looking at the coffin. This surprised Freya, who followed Jojo's gaze and looked around to see what he was seeing. Rex Prison, that giant, edgy skeleton in the cave. I just felt the same dark aura just now when Freya mentioned that name. Is it my imagination? Jojo looked around to see something abnormal to make sure. Seeing Jojo become serious, Freya narrowed her eyes and looked for any signs of danger. Why is he on alert? Did someone sneak up on us? What happened? Freya looked very confused. She picked up nothing from using her heightened senses. Just now when you read Rex Prison, I felt a disgusting aura for a split second. Jojo informed Freya with a serious expression while picking up the coffin and turning it upside down. What are you doing? Freya asked with a raised eyebrow. Well. Jojo transformed into his Ghost Rider form before Freya. Hey, are you all right? When Jojo suddenly got covered in flames and his skin melted off, Freya was surprised and took a few steps back in fear of the aura Jojo was emitting. Even though she knew Jojo could transform into this form, having seen it from a distance, seeing it up close, and experiencing the aura Jojo was emitting, she unconsciously took a few steps back. I just want to confirm something. Jojo looked at Freya and nodded his head while placing his hand on the coffin's back. Looking at the hollow eyes that were looking at her, Freya was dazed. She felt an endless darkness. Gulp. Freya nodded her head. When Jojo's hand touched the coffin, the flames in his hand started to spread. It started to burn while Jojo took a few steps back and stood beside Freya. Why did he burn the coffin? If we take it back, he could have been able to investigate more. Freya looked at Jojo for answers, but Jojo didn't pay any attention to her and kept looking at the coffin, which slowly started to vibrate. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. It seems like there are many souls trapped inside it. Jojo laughed loudly while the vibration of the coffin increased. What is ha? Before Freya could question, a hand came from inside the coffin. This surprised Freya, but her eyes widened when the hands came from the coffin, which was placed upside down, facing the ground. The room once again filled with a strong smell of decay, which even attracted the attention of Haley and Hope standing outside the church. Ah! Sob, sob! Help me! Lord save us! The screams started to come from the coffin loudly, making both Haley and Hope, who were outside the church, come running inside. What are they? Freya asked Jojo with a serious expression because she had never seen such a thing happen in her long life. Corrupted souls. Jojo answered with clear disgust visible in his tone. Corrupted souls. Freya looked at the coffin raised due to the hands which kept increasing. Freya. What happened? Haley asked while arriving beside Freya, looking at the horrifying scene before her. When Hope entered the underground room, she saw horrifying scenes where hands were coming out of the coffins. When she looked around in panic, her eyes laid on a skeleton that was blazing from head to toe, except for his clothes. Aunt Freya, where is Jojo? Hope asked Freya while panicking, looking at the blazing skeleton before her with vengeance. Even though for some reason, she felt a connection with it, she held her veg lance. Jojo walked towards the hand, gripped one of the hands, and pulled it. When the hand was pulled, a female with no eyes cried in pain while begging for something. After a second, it turned to nothingness. Jojo started to pull every soul by pulling their hands from the coffin and burning them to nothingness. After pulling all the souls, there was a last one remaining in it. When Jojo pulled it, he noticed the soul was not a normal one, it was wearing the church father's attire. While taking a close look at the pained face of the soul, Jojo suddenly remembered the man who had resurrected the demon Rex. My lord, liberate us! Were the words uttered from the mouth of the soul with no eyes? Underscore. Hey, do you hear me? Jojo held the soul grabbing his head. Ah, stop, stop! The soul screamed while trying to free itself from the grip of Jojo. Seeing the scene before them where Jojo was killing the souls who had no physical body, Hope, Haley, and Freya looked at the scene. It's him. Freya pointed at Hope, who looked shocked seeing Jojo in this form. Tell me, where is he? Without losing the grip, Jojo asked for the man's soul, which made the soul tremble. Who? The soul asked in confusion while trying to get out of Jojo's grip. Your puny lord. My soon-to-be prey. Hearing Jojo, the soul immediately stopped trying to escape and remembered his last moments before he was killed. Where is this place? Who are you? Where is my lord? The soul started to scream, looking more agitated and panicked. Seeing the soul was not answering, Jojo became irritated and asked one last time. The man's soul was not in the condition to answer. Now look at me. Jojo lost his patience and grabbed the soul's face and made him look into his eyes. The soul started to scream in pain while it turned to red from dark black. After some time, the soul stopped and turned to nothingness. Jojo turned back to his human form and walked towards the three who were looking at him silently. After a few minutes of awkward silence. Is your case solved? Freya asked Jojo with a sigh, seeing the crazy things they had seen today. No, I still need to catch that Rex. Jojo shook his head with an awkward smile on his face. Don't tell there is still more. Haley asked with a frown because they have been living here for a long time but still don't know about the things they saw. So when she heard there was still more, she became concerned that this place was still safe for Hope. Unknown house. Rex was looking at the screen before him, which was hanging in the air. On the screen, there were two pictures, one was Jojo, and another one was Freya, both were blurry. Rex was looking at the screen with an ugly expression while clutching his chest in pain. Each time Jojo destroyed the souls in his position, Rex felt their pain. Who are you two? How dare you destroy my food? Rex shouted while looking at the blue eyes, which was the only one visible in the blurry picture. They were able to track my spell within a fraction of a second. If I didn't sever it immediately, they would have noticed me. Rex went into deep thought, thinking how these insects could detect him. That's why he couldn't see the faces of the trespassers clearly. No matter who you are, you will pay for what you have done. Rex growled while his face changed, and his eyes became blood red without pupils with few cracks visible on his face emitting his aura. His eyes landed on the blue eyes once again, turned, snorted, and left the room. Chapter 59, Chapter 56, Jasper's Dilemma. Rex looked at the blurred images of Jojo and Freya with interest because they were able to track him if he didn't stop the observing spell. No matter who you are, you will pay the price for stealing my food away. Rex growled. His face changed, and his eyes became blood red without any pupils in them. His face cracked a little, and a dark aura emitted from it. I will not give you an easy death. Seeing the blue eyes in the blurred image, Rex snorted and walked out of the room. Why do you look like that? A woman with tan skin and white curly hair asked Rex with curiosity. Underscore. Tell me the reason, come on. Seeing there was no reply from Rex and his face turning ugly, a smirk formed on the woman's face. Wait, Kira. Zirian, come here. We need to talk. Rex stopped Kira, who kept praising him, which made her pout. When Rex called Zirian, a small, cute dog came running towards him from the couch. It was a Chihuahua dog breed. Today, a man and woman broke and tried to trace us from the spell I left there. Rex said with anger visible on his face. Fufo looks like little Rex got caught red-handed while peeping. Kira teased. While hearing Rex, Kira started to poke Rex's chin left and right teasingly. Seeing this, Rex's right eye twitched in annoyance. Even though you change skin regularly, you prove you are an old woman here and there. I can't take the teasing any longer. Rex shot back at Kira. The innocent face of Kira started to crack while emitting killing intent, and her nails slowly turned sharp. Enough, you two. A strong voice stopped both Rex and Kira who were about to fight. Consider yourself lucky, kiddo, Kira retreated her nails and killing intent. That's my line, stinky old woman. With a sneer, Rex turned to look towards the dog standing before them. Did they trace you? The cute dog suddenly talked in a male voice. No. Before that, I cut the connection with the spell. Rex shook his head with an annoyed look. According to him, humans are like insects, and a human able to crack his spell made him very upset. New Orleans. Mickelson compound. Freya sat on the couch with a tired look on her face, thinking very deeply. Haley, who noticed Freya in deep thought, didn't bother her and went near a window to peek outside. What are you doing? Seeing Haley's behavior, Freya questioned her with a confused look. _______. What do you think of him? Looking at Freya, who was eyeing her confusedly, Haley asked her question. Sigh. He is safe, but I am most concerned about the demon he was trying to find. Seeing Haley's concern, Freya shook her head and expressed her opinion. _______. Haley, I will be in the library to research something. Freya, without waiting for Haley's reply, walked towards the library of Mickelson's house. Outside of the Mickelson compound, Jojo and Hope were chatting. When Haley looked out, she saw Hope was very happy while chatting with Jojo. Should I ask him? Will he be offended? While chatting with Jojo, she hesitated to ask Jojo about his power, but she was curious. Seeing Hope who was hesitant about something caught by Jojo. What happened, Hope? Is something wrong? Seeing Hope hesitant, Jojo asked her with concern. Does she think me scary? Were the only thoughts in Jojo's mind. He would care about others thinking about him, but for some reason, Jojo felt uncomfortable. Gulp. It's. Can I ask you about your power? Seeing Jojo who was asking her with concern, Hope felt a little happy and asked her doubt. _______. Seeing Jojo was not replying, Hope started to panic that she asked something that she shouldn't have asked. Sigh. Well, the form I transform into is called the Spirit of Vengeance or Ghost Rider. My job is to hunt the sinners who commit hideous sins. With a sigh, Jojo started to explain his power to Hope who was listening very attentively. So that's how your power works, hey? She nodded her head in understanding. Seeing Jojo's gaze on her, she averted her gaze while her face turned red. _______. Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's fine, it's you. Before Jojo could finish his sentence, Hope left in a hurry, leaving behind Jojo who had a panicked expression. Rose, Alice, I miss you. Jojo went to his house while thinking about Alice and Rose like a kid longing to eat candy. Forks High School. Alice was sitting in the botany class with a bored expression. Looks like Alice is still thinking about Jojo. Jess whispered to Emmett with a smirk loud enough to be heard by Alice. What can we do? Now he must be enjoying his time there. I envy him. Emmett teased Alice while scoring his score with Jess. Ouch! Hearing Emmett's words, Jess punched him in the arm with a pout, to which Emmett acted like he was hurt. Seeing this, Alice giggled. Jasper, why do you look upset? Seeing her brother whose face turned ugly, Jess asked him with curiosity. _______. Jasper didn't answer, but everyone followed his eyes, including Alice. They saw Edward, who was looking at Bella without blinking. While Bella was listening to the class, Edward was smiling happily while smelling her happily. Jasper, my man, enjoy the show to your heart's content. Emmett teased Jasper, who turned his gaze toward him. His feelings are getting stronger day by day. Jasper answered while massaging his temples. He was happy that Edward found his mate, but he wasn't able to relax due to his emotions toward Edward. Seeing this, it must be full of love, right? Jess nudged Jasper to answer in curiosity. Underscore. Seeing the three of them looking at him for an answer, Jasper shook his head. It's hunger, thirst, smell. Looking at the expectant gaze, Jasper answered his brother and sisters. Underscore. Due to his high hearing sense, Edward, who heard the discussion of his siblings, turned his head and glared at them. Puff. Sorry, when he turned his head, I unconsciously thought about the shoe print. Emmett covered his laughter with his hand. Ring. Ring. Alice's phone started to ring. Oh, it's Jenny. Alice picked up the call in surprise because this was the first time Jenny called her. Chapter 60, Chapter 57, No Clue, No Gain. Alice looked at the caller ID and was surprised because it was Jenny. It was the first time she had called her. Alice answered the call. Call connected. Hello. Alice, it's me, Jenny. When Alice said hello, she heard Jenny, who sounded eager. Oh, Jenny, what happened? Is there any problem? Hearing Jenny's eager tone, Alice questioned her confusedly. No, it's just there is another case registered on DMC that needs our assistance. When Alice heard Jenny, her eyes widened, and she smiled very happily. That means Jojo will come, right? Alice asked with anticipation. He was still in New Orleans. That's why I called you. Seeing Jojo not return, for the time being, Alice's spirit once again became low. Why? It was an emergency case, and I consulted Jojo through a call. He estimates that this case can be assigned to you guys. So? Alice, who had a low spirit, asked in confusion. But when she heard that there was a case that Jojo was assigned to them, she became energetic. I will come. Alice answered before Jenny could explain, and the call disconnected. Call disconnected. Disconnecting the call, Alice turned to her siblings to see they were looking at her eagerly, while Emmett was cracking his knuckles with a smirk. They had heard the conversation between Jenny and Alice. Ring, ring. The bell rang, indicating that today's class had ended. Let's go. I want to see what type of guy we will meet this time. Emmett stood from his place, holding Jess's hand, and started to walk out of the class. This guy forgets that he was bullied by the clown, does he? Were the only thoughts on the minds of the three of them. Edward also heard the conversation, but he did not feel that excited. When Rosalie and Edith, who saw their siblings smiling very happily, looked at them with a raised eyebrow. When they heard they were assigned to a new case in DMC, both of them became interested. Did you inform father and mother? Edith questioned Alice, who was chatting with Rosalie happily. No, we need to inform them. Hearing the question, Alice shook her head. A few hours later, at Jojo's house, after discussing with their parents at the Cullens' house, all of them arrived. Here are the details of the case. Jenny took the file and gave it to Carlisle. It was from a boy named DJ Walter. He says that the house opposite his house looks like a haunted one. He says the old man in the house looks very suspicious. While Carlisle was reading the file, Jenny started to explain it to others. Oh, come on. I thought it would be something like that clown. Emmett, hearing that it was about an old man in an old house, became less interested. Underscore. Hearing Emmett, Jess punched him in his arm to indicate him to control his running mouth. Well, Jojo said this will be a good case for you guys to get some understanding of the supernatural side, and it will be instructive. Hearing Emmett, Jenny didn't offend and explained what Jojo said before assigning it to them. Is he sure that the house is haunted? Hearing Jenny's reply, Esme asked curiously. underscore 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 underscore. I don't know, but he said if you guys go there, there is a surprise waiting for you. When Jenny mentioned surprise, all the Cullens became interested. Hump. That guy assigned a case to us while he was spending time with that girl. Am I right? Rosalie looked very upset with narrowed eyes, thinking that when she was alone here and there, Jojo was spending his time with a beautiful girl. When Alice first mentioned Jojo as the other two bonds them and he met one of them in New Orleans, she broke the vessel in anger. New Orleans. Jojo was lying in bed thinking about today's events. This was the first time he couldn't find a single clue about the demon he was searching for. Instead, he felt someone peeking at them for a fraction of a second when Jojo and Freya entered the underground base in the church. Did the demon know about me, or is it someone else who peeked at us? He was in deep thought regarding the presence he felt, which vanished as soon as he detected it. While thinking about it, Jojo slowly drifted into sleep. Mika Elson compound. Hope was getting ready to leave for Mystic Falls to Salvatore boarding school and pack her things. When Hope was packing her things in her room, Freya informed them about Jojo to Mikkelsen. On the next day, Hope informed Jojo that she was going to school and would be staying in the dorms, while pouting at Haley, who shook her head, feeling her daughter's gaze. 2 months passed. It's been 2 months since Jojo arrived in New Orleans to hunt the demon, but due to his impressive luck, he didn't find a single clue or vision regarding the demon. So in the meantime, he was hunting the sinners around New Orleans. He even considered that the demon was not here anymore. While he stays here, Rosalie and Alice even ask him if they want to go to where he is. But consoled them with great effort while promising them that he would spend more time with them. While Jojo was trying to find any clue on the demon, Rex, Kira, and Zirian were moving on with their plans. They planned to mingle among humans like ordinary humans and spread their influence on society. Rex has joined a university as a student, Kira becomes a doctor in a hospital, and Zirian becomes a pet of one of the cops. They brainwashed others to get the position they were in. They were waiting for the perfect time to implement their plan at the correct time. Mystic Falls. A woman was standing before her son with narrowed eyes. The boy was sweating profoundly, feeling his mother's gaze on him. Did you understand, son? Our plan's success depends on you. The woman reminded her son once again while showing her canines. Don't worry, mother. I will handle it. I will make Hope give her blood. The boy said with determination in his voice. What if Klaus comes? There is no one capable of stopping him. One of the men in the back asked the woman with a little panic. Don't worry, we have Elijah on our side. The woman said with an evil smirk on her face. Chapter 61, Chapter 58, Nebercracker and his old mansion. DJ Walter is a 12-year-old boy with messy hair and a round face. He is a curious and skeptical boy who doubts his old neighbor, whose mansion is opposite his house. It is an eerie and old run-down mansion that gives a spooky feeling. DJ Walter was attracted by his neighbor's weird behavior, so out of curiosity, he started to investigate his neighbor for fun, and time passed. The owner of the old mansion is an old man named Nebercracker. DJ Walter first felt funny while observing Nebercracker through the big binoculars in the window of his room. When the time passed, he felt something was wrong with his old neighbor because he started to notice that Nebercracker was not allowing anyone to enter his house or lawn. Whenever toys, balls, or any extra thing that is out of place on the lawn falls in it, it will mysteriously disappear from there. Sometimes, Nebercracker will voluntarily take the things of the kids that fell onto his lawn. DJ Walter never saw Nebercracker smile whenever he looked at him. When DJ was later informed about this, his mother and his father didn't believe him at all. Like always today, he broke that girl's tricycle. DJ was looking at his neighbor's mansion and the crying little girl. When Nebercracker was about to enter his house, he felt someone looking at him and turned towards the house opposite him. Thud. When DJ Walter saw the old man turn and look in his direction, he fell back in shock. Click. He hurriedly took the picture of the old man with an angry expression on his face and clipped it on the wall, noting the time and date along with the thing he took with a pencil. DJ. There was a loud voice of his mother coming from his house lawn. We are gonna be late. DJ's father informed his mother while packing the luggage in their car. Yeah, Mom. I am coming. He hurriedly walked towards the table along with the picture in his hand. 30th another tricycle. While noting the time and date along with the thing he took with a pencil. After noting, he ran downstairs. Mom. Mom, he did it again, he took another tricycle. DJ informed his mother once again with a panicked expression. Okay, honey. We have talked about this. You can stay up in your room all day staring at an old man through a telescope. His mother started calming DJ and yelled at him not to peep at the old man all day. Mom, there is something wrong with that house. I am serious. Seeing his mom not believe in him, DJ once again said with an angry look on his face. When his mom is about to lecture him again. Oh, my boy hit puberty. He is voicing for himself. DJ's father patted DJ's shoulder and went to the car. His father and mother left the house. Today he needs to stay alone. Fine, you might not believe me, but I know how to deal with this. The boy yelled and went inside his house. Man, your father just rode over my mask. Chowder, a fat boy the same age as DJ, looked at his mask with tire marks on it. Hi, Chowder. DJ said, a little down. Look what I brought, my new basketball. Let's play. Chowder took his basketball and passed it to DJ. While they were playing, Chowder threw the ball with a smirk, declaring he was going to end DJ's streak, but the ball bounced off the ring and smashed at his nose. While DJ was helping Chowder to stand up, the ball already passed through the old mansion opposite them. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Seeing this, both of their faces turned ugly. DJ, come on, man. Please get my ball. Chowder asked DJ with expectation. Open your eyes and see where the ball is, it's on Nebercracker's lawn. It doesn't exist anymore. DJ tried to persuade Chowder to give up on his basketball. Sob. Sob. Hearing this, Chowder started to sob and was on the verge of crying. I paid $28 for that. Sigh. DJ stopped Chowder while speaking and looked at the closed windows with narrowed eyes. The windows are closed, he is sleeping. DJ said in a low voice enough to be heard by Chowder. I won't forget about this, DJ. Chowder pushed DJ onto the lawn for him to pick up the ball. Underscore 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 underscore. Sigh. Taking a deep breath, DJ ran towards the ball to take it and leave the lawn quickly before the old man woke up. Crack. Creak. When he came near the ball, the door of the old mansion opened slowly. You. The old man came out of the house and came running towards DJ while shouting at him. He tried to catch DJ, but DJ dodged him. When DJ dodged and was about to walk to the path of the old mansion, the grass on the lawn gripped his shoe tightly. Due to the force, he damaged the lawn a little. Underscore 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 underscore. What have you done? Nebercracker looked at DJ while his face turned red in anger. Wait. I didn't mean to. DJ tried to explain, but Nebercracker did not listen to him and started to chase him. When DJ was about to step out of the lawn, Nebercracker caught DJ's hand and dragged him inside the lawn. Sorry. I didn't mean to. What have you done? Nebercracker lifted DJ using both hands and yelled at him. I love this place. It is not a playground for your kids. This is my house. Thud. While yelling at DJ, Nebercracker's eye rolled, and he fell unconscious. On top of DJ. DJ tries to move the unconscious Nebercracker from the top of his body, while Chowder yells at him to come out of the lawn. At that time, both of them didn't notice that the cracks appeared in the mansion near the windows which expressed human emotion. Confusion. Concern. The fire suddenly appeared in the fireplace inside the house, and the smoke came out of the chimney of the house. After 5 minutes. Honk! Honk! Nebbercracker was taken on the stretcher to the ambulance, but one of the wheels of the stretcher was caught by the grass in the lawn like it was alive. The man moving the stretcher forcefully moved the stretcher, resulting in the well broken. The man didn't notice the broken wheel and moved the stretcher inside the ambulance, closed the door, and the ambulance took off. The wheel slowly sank into the ground. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Both DJ and Chowder looked at each other's faces not knowing what to say. There was an awkward silence. When DJ looked down, he saw the key that fell from Nebbercracker when he fell unconscious. He took the key with him and left the house. When the boys moved out of the house and started walking towards DJ's house, the window screen in one of the windows opened lightly like an eye was peeking. It looked at the two boys exiting the lawn. "We are the reason for this." DJ looked dejected, blaming himself. "It's not your fault, DJ." "Oh, it's already late, bye DJ." Chowder bid bye to DJ and ran towards the house. All this was seen by a group of 7 from the house beside DJ's house. They are Jenny, Kong, Alice, Rosalie, Emmett, Jess, and Jasper. "Oh God! Jojo, did you assign us an easy task?" Jenny muttered while looking at the old house without blinking. "What? What happened, Jenny?" Kong, who was sitting beside Jenny, questioned her with a confused look on his face. Hearing Kong, Jenny turned her head and met with the confused gazes of Collins and her husband. "I too saw the house for a moment, it showed human emotions." Jess informed others with a shocked face. "Not only that, I could feel human emotion from it." Jasper also stated what he found. "What? How is it possible?" Emmett looked at others in the house with narrowed eyes. "Don't be shocked by just that, do you guys want to know what I saw?" Jenny asked the Cullens, who nodded their heads. "I was seeing a ghost of the huge fat lady's head covering the whole mansion." When Jenny stated about the ghost, everyone looked at the house in shock. "Jenny baby! How about we abort this mission and let Jojo handle it?" Kong started to sweat, looked at the house in horror, and tried to convince Jenny to not continue this mission. "No. This was the first time I got a mission without Jojo, so I will complete it." Hearing Kong, Jenny rejected Kong outright with a serious face. "My lord, protect this pitiful soul." Kong started to mutter prayers silently with an ugly face. Chapter 62, Chapter 59, Monster House starts its hunt. When Jenny informed others about the huge ghost's head she was seeing, which was covering the whole house. "Can you explain clearly, Jenny?" While Kong was muttering on one side, Rose looked at Jenny. "Well, you see, the whole house is haunted. For example, the 2 windows are the eyes, the window screen is the eyelids, and the door is its mouth." Jenny started to explain everything to others. DJ's house lawn. When the DJ was still thinking about what happened, he heard a song playing at a high volume. A yellow car came and parked at his house. Seeing the car, DJ rolled his eyes and was about to enter the house. The loud music was coming from the yellow car. "Stop!" Seeing DJ was going to enter the house, a teenage girl stopped him from the car. She had an appearance like a soft person, her name was Elizabeth Z. "Hey, DJ, I just saw an ambulance. Did I miss anything interesting?" She pointed in the direction where the ambulance left a while ago. But DJ didn't reply to her and walked inside the house. "Hello." Seeing this, the girl also hurriedly followed him inside. "Elizabeth, can I talk to you about something?" DJ asked Z, who entered the house with a little irritation in his tone. "Oh, yeah, of course, you can, Cantaloupe. We are gonna have the best time. I've got tons of neat activities planned." After entering the house, Z's demeanor changed, and placed her finger on DJ's chin while answering him in a loud voice. Before DJ could say anything, she started to walk inside. They already left. Seeing Z's acting, DJ informed her. Sigh. Okay, so the usual deal, indoors by 9, in your room by 11. The lights out, your call. Elizabeth. And it's Z. Hearing that with a sigh, Z removed her pink-handed shirt and the pink clip she was wearing. Within a few seconds, she turned from a soft kind girl to a punk edgy girl. Now, listen up. I control the TV, the stereo, and the phone. I don't do board games, shrinky-dinks, or tuck-ins. I'm not your mother. I'm not your friend. Not hearing what DJ said, she continued to order DJ with a stern tone. Don't talk to me like I am a baby, okay? I am practically a grown-up. I don't even need you here. Elizabeth. Hearing Z's response, DJ sneered and went upstairs to his room. After the DJ left, Elizabeth took a cassette and played music in a loud voice. House beside DJ's house. Damn, is that woman serious about taking advantage of someone else's house? Emmett, who heard the conversation between DJ and Z, looked very disgusted. That bitch, can't she keep that music quiet? Jess sneered and narrowed her eyes because she hated loud music like this. Sometimes I fear bitches like this would take advantage of Jojo, fooling him. Rosalie stated her concern. Underscore. There was a silence that filled the room. What? Feeling the gaze, Rosalie asked with confusion, feeling the other's gaze. Nothing. Everyone answered at the same time. Seeing this, Alice giggled. You are the only one who considers he is innocent. These were the only thoughts in their minds. DJ's house. DJ placed Nebercracker's house key on his desk and cleared the window by removing the telescope and closing the window. DJ lay on his bed. After some time, he fell asleep. Suddenly, the shadow of the old house started to extend inside his room, while the dark room turned red. In the shadow of the old mansion, the windows opened suddenly, and the lights were still on. Creak. Creak. The door of the shadow house opened, and an arm extended from it slowly. The arm extended towards DJ, who was sleeping peacefully, and moved close to him. Suddenly, the arm smashed at DJ. Ahm. Suddenly, DJ woke from sleep while breathing heavily. Ring. Ring. After a few seconds, he noticed the phone in his room started to ring. Yawn. DJ looked at the clock. It was 11:15 p.m. Who is calling me at this time? With a sleepy face, DJ attended the phone call. Call connected. Hello. GRRRRRRRR. ______. Call disconnected. Ring. Ring. Call connected. Hello. Once again, DJ attended the call. GRRRRRRRR. Call disconnected. Oh. Yeah, you think this is funny? DJ reverse called the number that made the phone call, thinking someone was pranking him. Ring. Ring. Hearing the ring, DJ's face turned pale, and he slowly turned towards the window. He opened the window and looked outside. The phone ring was coming from Nebercracker's house. Seeing this, DJ's eyes widened, and took a few steps back in fear. Suddenly, hands appeared from behind him and turned him. Boo! Ah! When DJ turned, he saw the monster mask Chowder brought previously. Haha! Happy Halloween, doofus, haha! A teenager removed the mask while laughing at DJ, who looked very scared. Nice one, Bones! Z also entered the room and giggled looking at Bones making fun of DJ. DJ immediately informed Z about the phone call she received from the old house. But they laughed it off, saying it was DJ who made the phone call. When DJ said no friends are allowed, Z didn't care about it and took her boyfriend downstairs. After they left, DJ looked at the house with fear visible on his face. Zoob. Suddenly, one of the screens in the window opened automatically. Ah! Why are you doing this? DJ took the phone and called Chowder. Ring. Ring. Call connected. Who is this? Chowder answered while playing a video game on his TV. It's me, DJ. Meet me at Danger Zone now. Got it. Call ended. After thinking for a few minutes, DJ took the phone once again and dialed the number he noted before browsing the internet. Ring. Hello. AHM, hi, I am DJ Walter. I am calling you regarding the complaint I filed. Yes, sir. Do you have any doubts? When will you guys come here? I was haunted by the old house. Sure, we already have arrived and are currently staying at the house beside yours on your right. When will you solve this? Tomorrow we will start the investigation. Thank you. Call ended. House beside DJ's house. It seems like he was scared. Kong broke the silence with pity in his tone. He somehow related DJ to him. At first, when his wife started speaking with the ghosts, he had many sleepless nights thinking, is there still a ghost in his bedroom? I feel immense anger from the house. Jasper stated in his opinion. According to our conversation with the boy, he seems to think the old man is the one who is haunting him through the house. But according to Jenny, it was the ghost of a fat woman. Rosalie looked at the house opposite them with narrowed eyes. Seeing its expression, it is very angry at the boy. Hearing Rosalie, Jenny nodded her head. Bones was sent out of the house by the angry Z for scaring her. He looked quite drunk and started walking with the bottle in his hand. Next day, DJ and Chowder were sitting on a couch while they were surrounded by 7 people. It's none other than Collins, Jenny, and Kong. They seemed to be discussing seriously, while DJ looked dejected and Chowder was consoling him. Wait, do you mean the house was haunted, and the one that haunted me yesterday is a fat woman ghost? DJ asked with a complicated look on his face. Until now, he thought it was Nevercracker's ghost, now it seems like it was an unknown woman. Yeah, and the ghost seems to be very angry with you for some reason. Jenny explained with seriousness. So don't go inside it again until it's solved. Alice, who was sitting next to Jenny, warned DJ. What? Why would I go there? DJ shook his head immediately, thinking only fools would go there. DJ thought about how these people saved Chowder and him from being eaten by the house. Chapter 63, Chapter 60, Visiting Nevercracker. When the Cullens saved Chowder from becoming food for the monster house, Jenny tried to talk with the ghost of the fat woman, but unfortunately, the fat woman didn't want to listen to her. Next day, they warned DJ to stay out of the old mansion, to which both DJ and Chowder nodded their heads fast. While they were chatting, they heard Z shouting from DJ's house. They all looked at the little girl who seemed to be arguing with Z regarding trick or treat. She looks beautiful, Chowder exclaimed while looking at the girl with a mesmerized look. Yeah, she looks beautiful, DJ nodded his head, a little drooling with a silly smile. Underscore 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 underscore. Hearing them, other eyes twitched. Geez, kids these days. Jenny shook her head. Suddenly, she noticed the girl was walking towards Nevercracker's house. Seeing their dream girl walking towards her doom, the hero inside DJ and Chowder came out of their hearts, and they started running towards her. Hey, hey, don't go there! Both of them ran towards her rigorously. Others also followed them. Cullens didn't want to show their abilities to the kids easily before the situation demands it, so they ran like normal humans. Kid, come here like a good girl. Jess tried to talk to the girl calmly to not make her step on the lawn. Oh, you guys are trying to pull this trick on me, hey, but it's an old trick. She looked at them with a smug look on her face. While on the sides, both DJ and Chowder were trying to persuade her to move away. Are you guys mentally challenged? If you are, I'm certified to teach you baseball. While she was teasing DJ and Chowder, the calm house started to crack and transformed into a scary monster house with sharp teeth. Ah! The girl screamed and fell on the cart she was pulling while panicking. The stone path on the lawn suddenly started to rise like a mechanical arm and passed to each stone slide, bringing her close to its mouth. Grr! Help me! The house opened its mouth, showing its fangs and the long tongue to catch the girl. But before that, Alice caught the girl, pulled her out of the carpet tongue, and left the lawn using her speed. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. The carpet extended in an attempt to catch them, but it couldn't because its length was a little short. Girl, you should take the advice of grown ups. Jess started to scold the girl, who was taking deep breaths in panic and processing what just happened. Suddenly, the door of DJ's house opened, and Z came out of it. Zoob! The monster house suddenly transformed into an ordinary old house within a second. When she came out, she noticed DJ and Chowder and started walking toward them while holding a phone in her hand. Hey, there is an angry dad on the phone looking for the one named Chowder. She shook the phone in front of both DJ and Chowder. Chowder took the phone and walked away to speak with his angry father because he left the house last night without informing them and did not return until now. When DJ was about to inform Z, Emmett placed his hands on DJ's shoulders and signaled him not to tell her. Who might you be? Seeing Emmett, Z asked a little stunned, surprised by his charm. My boyfriend and I are DJ's neighbors. Jess moved forward, took Emmett's hands, and answered Z. Whatever. DJ, I am going to look for Bones. She rolled her eyes and informed DJ while walking towards the car. After Z left in the car. You wanna tell me what's going on? The girl asked DJ with an awkward smile on her face. Hearing her, DJ looked at Emmett, knowing what to do. Emmett informed her this was nothing to make her drop the matter, but she burst pointing at the house, which tried to eat her alive just a few moments before. While on the other side, Chowder was begging his father and pleading with him not to cut off his pocket money this week. The call ended. When he was about to place the phone on its stand, DJ, followed by the girl and others, entered DJ's room. Seeing the cute girl enter, Chowder started to speak to his imaginary father. Well, Dad, why don't you kiss my hairy butt? Hey, DJ, you got any beer? Well, hello there. Chowder turned towards DJ and greeted him and moved towards the girl like a gentleman. Underscore 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 underscore. Let the kids be. What is the plan, guys? Edith looked at Jenny with narrowed eyes because today is Halloween, so many kids will go to the Nevercracker's house for trick or treat, so they need to solve it before dawn. They all went into deep thought. Suddenly, Jenny widened her eyes, realizing something. Guys, we are leaving an important point here. The old man lived in that house for many years, and the house did not do any harm to him. So we must meet him in the hospital to know more before acting. Jenny gave her suggestion, which made a point to all the others. So everyone left to meet Nevercracker in the hospital, while DJ and Chowder were murmuring that they might have accidentally killed Nevercracker. Hospital. The nurse was trying to pacify Nevercracker, who tried to leave the hospital. Look, I need to go now. Leave me. Nevercracker didn't want to listen to the nurse and started to leave the visiting room. I need to stop her before she does something terrible. These were the only thoughts on his mind. Mr. Nevercracker, we need to talk. The Cullens, who entered the room, blocked Nevercracker's path. What do you guys want? Move away. Nevercracker tried to push Emmett with his skinny hand. Instead of Emmett moving, Nevercracker moved backward while pushing. Underscore 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 underscore. Mr. Nevercracker, relax. We know about your house. We are specialized in dealing with such supernatural cases. Jenny, who saw Nebuchadnezzar, tried to calm him down. Hearing Jenny, Nebuchadnezzar calmed down and looked at everyone's faces seriously. Sigh. With a sigh, Nebuchadnezzar began to tell his story. When he was 22 years old, he was in the military's special squad named the Demolition Squad. One day, he and his squad went to a circus to celebrate. They were going home from the service. At first, he was reluctant to go there because he was not interested in it. There, he saw for the first time the love of his life. Chapter 66, Chapter 61, I will rip them to bits. When Nebuchadnezzar heard Jenny explaining that they were expecting to handle such supernatural cases as his house, he began to trust them and calmed down a little. Hearing them, Nebuchadnezzar calmed down and looked at the young people around him seriously. Even though he calmed down, he didn't fully believe that the young people before him could solve his problem. Sigh. With a sigh, Nebuchadnezzar began to tell his story. When he was 22 years old, he was in the military's special squad named the Demolition Squad. One day, he and his squad went to a circus to celebrate. They were returning home from service. At first, he was reluctant to go there because he was not interested in it. He believed that the circus was for kids. But his fellow soldiers, who were going to retire along with him due to the end of World War II, compelled him to attend, stating that this might be the last time they would be spending together. He could not decline their request because what they stated was true. They had shed blood together in life-threatening battles. Some even saved his life many times by taking bullets into their bodies to shield him. As the show started, he slowly began to enjoy it. He found joy in watching the tiger jumping through the ring of fire. However, his joy turned to shock when the host of the circus introduced the next event. A few people dragged a cage that was covered with a velvet-colored cloth with a hint of mystery. Ladies and gentlemen, our next attraction is a peculiar one. You are about to witness something, or rather someone, who might leave you awed by her sheer size. The host announced through the mic to the audience, with a hint of mischief in his eyes. Let your eyes feast on. Ding! Constance the giantess, the true giant. The host pulled the velvet cloth from the cage, revealing a huge giantess walking out of the cage. She went to the center of the stage where a seat was prepared for her, with the spotlight focused on her. Nebuchadnezzar's eyes widened as he looked at Constance before him, who was sitting on the chair specially prepared for her. He couldn't take his eyes off her, and a smile, unknown to him, slowly adorned his face. He felt like he saw his angel before him. However, others in the audience didn't share his sentiment. They started to taunt Constance for her fat body and oversized growth, including Nebuchadnezzar's friends. They verbally taunted Constance, while the host and the owner of the circus didn't have any intention to step in. Seeing the awkward atmosphere, Constance tried to ignore the taunting. But suddenly, a tomato hit her in the face, followed by others. Ah! 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 This was the last straw for Constance. She lost her temper and retaliated on the stage. Ha 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 ha! Seeing Constance's reaction, the audience became amused and started to laugh loudly, taunting her more aggressively. Ha ha ha! Underscore 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 underscore. After some screaming at the audience, Constance completely broke down, her legs giving way. She fell sideways and looked at the ground with a pitiful look. Underscore 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 underscore. Seeing this happening before his eyes, Nebuchadnezzar's chest tightened in sorrow at seeing his loved one in this state. He wasn't immature and didn't know his feelings. He had seen his friends from the regiment spending time with women, some having one-night stands, some falling in love. But the feeling he was feeling now was different. He wanted to spend his whole life with her alone. When his gaze turned to the audience, including his friends, there was only one feeling visible on his face: disgust. He stood from his place and strode out of the circus tent without looking back. On the same night, The circus crew were packing their belongings and dismantling the tents because they were going to move to the next town for their next performance. Constance sat inside the cage, silent amidst the chaos. Suddenly, a flashlight hit her face. She covered her face from the sudden light and looked outside, confused. "Hello." Suddenly, Nevercracker appeared before her and smiled at her shyly. "Ah!" Seeing the bony man suddenly appear before her, she panicked and slid a few inches back into the cage. "Okay. I can take you away from here. Would you like that?" Nevercracker asked Constance with a kind smile, though inside his blood pressure was rising because if his love didn't want to accompany him, he couldn't force her. "Right. Because he is a gentleman." When Constance heard him, her eyes widened in surprise. She was too shocked to reply. ________. Seeing Constance not replying, Nevercracker was worried that she didn't want to come with him. When Constance came out of her stupor, she looked at Nevercracker outside the cage with teary eyes. "Yes." She nodded her head with a wide smile and teary eyes. Until now, she had always been hated or looked at as a monster. For the first time, there was someone who loved her genuinely, without any disgust, and accepted her for who she was. At this moment, she made a vow to herself that she wouldn't let anyone come between him and her, no matter what. Sigh. Hearing her reply, Nevercracker became very happy and felt a huge burden lift from his chest. He slowly disconnected the cage from the circus truck, connected it to his truck, and went into his driver's seat. He didn't wait any time. He started the truck, pressed the gas pedal, and left the place. They were moving to a very faraway place from there. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Throughout the journey, Constance and Nevercracker laughed loudly, chatting with great enthusiasm. After traveling for the whole night, they arrived at a deserted place, which looked like a typical desert outside, but it had the perfect conditions to build a house, including fresh underground water. "Constance, please close your eyes." After arriving at the destination, Nevercracker asked Constance to close her eyes to give her a surprise. "All right." He took her hand and guided her slowly. "Okay, now open your eyes." Arriving before the sales board stating that the land was for sale. "Oh." Seeing the land sales board, Constance was shocked, and suddenly realization hit her, her eyes widening in surprise. Last night, Nevercracker explained about his dream to build a house to feel at home, as he was an orphan. Now, not as much as I know, but just. Before Nevercracker could reply, he was lifted in a princess carried by Constance. She liked the place. After 15 days, Nevercracker was in charge of building the house. He was building his own dream house. While he was busy cutting the cage that was previously used to impress Constance with the axe. Hey, get away from my house. I will rip them to bits." Constance stepped out of the half-completed room and the stairs while looking at the kids who were throwing stones at the half-constructed house. "Oh. Ah. Oh. What happened, Constance? Are you hurt?" Looking at the enraged Constance, Nevercracker asked with concern. "Yes, I am hurt. Those criminals are attacking our house." Entranced, Constance pointed at the kids who were taunting her while hiding inside the bushes. "They are just kids. It's Halloween." Hearing Constance's reply, Nevercracker shook his head and tried to explain that today was Halloween. No. It's my house, they are hurting me." But Constance shook her head in denial, not listening to Nevercracker's explanation. "Constance, look at me, look at me." He paused to look at Constance, hoping she would listen to him. "As long as I am here, I will never let anyone hurt you." While he was explaining things to her, suddenly an egg hit Constance's head from behind, snapping the last string. She took the axe and started swinging it rapidly at the kids. But she was stopped by Nevercracker, who was trying to pull the axe from her hands. When he successfully pulled the axe from her hand, her leg slipped, and she landed on one of the broken eggs. She fell into the pit, and her hand obediently turned on the machine, causing the cement to fall all over her and fully cover the pit. Flashback ends. Hearing Nebuchadnezzar's and Constance's past, everyone listening to it became sad for the couple. Don't worry, Nebuchadnezzar, we will help you send your wife to the afterlife. Jenny patted the shoulder of the pitiful old man before her and comforted him. Yeah, old man, don't worry, we will take care of your Rose. Ouch! Emmett tried to comfort the old man before him and miserably failed. Jess, who was beside him, pinched his wrist with fake annoyance. Ha 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 ha! Which helped to lift the mood. What day is it today? Seeing everyone laughing happily, Nebuchadnezzar asked Edith while standing with the help of Jenny. Oh, it's Halloween. Not noticing the ugly expression on Nebuchadnezzar's face, Edith replied. Holy motherfuck! Chapter 67, Chapter 62, Go, Kong, you can do it! While Emmett succeeded in changing the awkward atmosphere in the room, Nebuchadnezzar turned his head towards Edith, planning his next step to solve the Constance problem. What day is it today? He questioned calmly, his mind racing with plans. Oh, it's Halloween! Edith replied, oblivious to Nebuchadnezzar's expression slowly changing to an ugly one. Underscore. Holy motherfuck! Nebuchadnezzar's eyes widened, and he shouted in panic, becoming agitated once again. Cool off, old man! Why are you in a hurry again? Emmett attempted to calm Nebuchadnezzar. I need to go. Otherwise, Constance will hunt down every kid who steps onto the lawn for Halloween. Nebuchadnezzar declared, grabbing the walking stick prepared for him. Meanwhile, at DJ's house, DJ and Chowder were observing Nebuchadnezzar's house with a telescope through the windows. Whenever a kid approached the lawn, they intervened to stop them. They even tried to put up a warning board, but the grass absorbed it underground. Vroom! Honk! Honk! They heard the sound of a car engine followed by the familiar car that belonged to the DMC squad. DJ, they're back! Come on, let's go! Chowder exclaimed, hurrying out of the room. Bang! DJ, who had been sleeping with his legs on the desk, fell from his chair at Chowder's sudden exclamation. After listening to Chowder's scream, DJ followed hastily. When Jenny and the others exited the car, they were greeted by the same girl they had saved earlier. What are you doing here, girl? Jess asked, surprised to see her. Oh, I just arrived. I wanted to see how you guys are going to solve the monster house. The girl replied with a shy smile, not wanting to miss such an opportunity. Underscore. Following them, Nebuchadnezzar also emerged from the car. Click! At that moment, the door of DJ's house opened, and Chowder came out with an excited smile. But when he saw Nebuchadnezzar's face, his expression turned to panic. Ghost! Ghost! DJ, come here! Nebuchadnezzar came back as a ghost to take revenge on us. Chowder shouted in panic, falling back and calling for DJ's help. Underscore. Hearing Chowder, Nebuchadnezzar's eyebrow twitched, and his smile cracked into a scary one. What do you mean? DJ, who arrived, was shocked to see Nebuchadnezzar alive and well. How are you still alive? Underscore. Unfortunately, Nebuchadnezzar heard DJ's whispered question, and his anger began to rise once again. Calm down, kids, he's alive. Jess reassured them, rolling her eyes at the banter. So, what are we going to do next? Alice looked around, eager to know their plan. Everyone's eyes turned to Jenny, as she was the most experienced in their team. What? The old man is back on his feet, so he will be able to keep the possessed house in check, right, honey? Kong breathed a sigh of relief, thinking their mission was over. Underscore 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 underscore. No, we need to destroy the house to free Constance's spirit. Jenny shook her head, explaining the situation to Constance. So, how are we going to do that? Are we going to burn it, or hit it with a JCB, or any other way? Jasper inquired, nodding thoughtfully. I have a bomb with me. We could use it. Nebercracker revealed, taking out a bomb from the coverings of his broken arm. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. How do you manage to keep it there, old man? Were the thoughts running through everyone's minds as they looked at him with deadpan expressions. The sky was already starting to darken as night approached. Feeling everyone's gaze, Nebercracker coughed in slight embarrassment. You guys wait here. I will try to convince Constance to open the door, and then I will light the bomb and throw it into the house to destroy it. Nebercracker explained his plan to blast the house to dust. But it's very dangerous for you. Alice interjected, disapprovingly. Underscore 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 underscore. Then what should we do? Rosalie looked at Alice with narrowed eyes, determined not to fail their first mission. We need someone who could ease the atmosphere, talkative, blabber nonsense without fear. Jenny stated, after a moment of deep thought, describing the qualities needed for the person to take Nebercracker's place. Underscore 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 underscore. Someone talkative, eases the atmosphere, blabbers nonsense. There is no one present in the world who can do all three of those. Kong scoffed, grinning and taunting Jenny. But everyone's gaze slowly turned towards Kong, who was making jokes and laughing himself, unknowingly becoming the center of attention. Feeling the intense glare on him, Kong looked at the others with a questioning look. Why are you guys looking at me like that? Was the only thought in his mind as the intensity of the gaze increased. After 30 minutes. Go, Kong, you can do it. Underscore 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 underscore. Come on, man, be a man. Underscore 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 underscore. Honey, you can do it. I will show the video to Alex of how his father fought a monster. Underscore 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 underscore. If you do the job correctly, Jojo might consider hiring you. Underscore 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 underscore. Hey! Jenny, don't worry, for a simple job like this, how could I, Chowder, not do it? That's why I allowed him to. Underscore 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 underscore. Even for Chowder, it was an easy job. For me, it's a breeze. Underscore 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 underscore. Kong stood before the lawn of Nebercracker's mansion with a gloomy expression on his face. For each comment, Kang's eyes and mouth twitched. You guys, why are you cheering as if you are watching a baseball game? And you, Jenny, recording a video of me facing this monster seriously? And Jojo, you motherfucker, where are you? Kong cursed silently, his blood pressure rising steadily. Calm down, Kong, calm down, you can do it. Sigh. Kong took a step onto the lawn with determination filling his eyes. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review in Power Stone. Chapter 68, Chapter 63, You Are an Angelic Spirit. Kong looked at the old mansion before him while sweating heavily, his hands and legs shaking in fear. Gulp. Damn. Stop shaking, you fool. He cursed his legs, which were moving without his consent. The sky darkened, indicating the arrival of night. While his soul searched for comfort, taking a deep breath, he heard his wife and Collins trying to encourage him. His eyes twitched at each of their attempts. Shut up! Damn it, do they want to motivate me or demotivate me? Gulp. With a gulp, his eyes landed on the house, and nervousness took over him. I should have stayed at home. Curse me in my mouth. He took a step onto the stone path, hiding the TNT explosive of Nebercracker from earlier inside his shirt. ________. Sigh. Seeing no reaction from the house, Kong let out a relieved sigh and took a few steps forward. Due to his concentration being fully on the house to detect any changes, he accidentally kicked a stone pebble on the path, which rolled and hit the bottom of the steps of the old mansion. Thud. 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 Seeing the stone pebble roll toward the mansion, Kang's heart skipped a beat, and time seemed to slow down for him. He saw it hit the stairs like a bullseye. ________. Shit. Were the only thoughts that crossed Kang's mind. Rest in peace, my friend. We shall always remember your heroic sacrifice. Emmett put his hands together and started praying for Kong. Ouch. Jess, standing beside Emmett, hit the back of his head. You, bloodsucker. Believe it, if I survive this, I will become a Van Helsing and hunt you down to the end of the world. Kong gritted his teeth, internally furious with bloodshot eyes. Not because of his rage but due to fear, his eyes became bloodshot, a starting sign of crying. ________. Adding fuel to his dismay, the house started to react. The two windows, which acted as eyes for Constance's ghosts, fluttered and slowly opened, indicating that Constance had awakened from her slumber. When the house opened its eyes, it was greeted by the intruder who looked highly suspicious, staring at her with wide eyes. ________. Gr. Grrrrrrrr. Creak. 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 Looking at the intruder before her, the old mansion started to creak, and the wooden planks in the steps broke, resembling fangs. The peaceful old house from a few seconds ago was nowhere to be found. Even though Kong already knew the house transformed into a monster from the opposite house, it was nowhere near what was happening now. Seeing the situation getting out of hand, the Cullens were getting ready to make a move if necessary, under the instance of Jenny. If Kong were to hear this, he would be broken into millions of pieces like fragile glass. Shit. Think, Kong. Think, you can do it. Your life is in your hands. Seeing the monster house about to make a move. Ahem. Ahem. Hello, beautiful lady. You do not need to be on guard. I am here to help you by freeing you. Kong raised his hands and spoke calmly, even though his legs and hands betrayed his calm. ________. Constance, who was about to swallow the suspicious-looking man before her and imprison him in the basement, stopped abruptly. She was at a loss for the situation because this was the first time somebody tried to communicate with her after her husband. And the suspicious-looking man before her spoke with respect, unlike others who always treated her as a monster. So, she calmed down a little. Seeing the monster house listening to him. Sigh. With a sigh, Kong braced himself for whatever was going to happen to him if the monster house before him was going to get angry. Hey! It listened to him. Jasper murmured, looking at the scene unfolding before him, while others looked at the situation in awe. I know my husband can pull it off. Jenny exclaimed with a wide smile on her face. You see, such a beautiful lady with good deeds like you should go to heaven. Kong stopped and looked at the house to see any change in expression. Due to your obsession with your house, your angelic spirit got stuck in this house, which prevents you from going to heaven. With determination, he started his free tongue to convince the monster house. Hearing Kong calling her an angelic spirit, the frowned eyebrows relaxed, and she listened to him with interest. Gulp. I am here to help you ascend to heaven, and this was your husband's last wish. With a gulp, Kong completed his speech, saying the last part a little louder and pointing at Nebercracker, who was standing with the Cullens and Jenny near the DJ house. Looking in the pointed direction, the house saw an old man with a fractured hand and leg, standing with the help of a walking stick. Gr. Growl. Grr. Seeing Nebercracker, the house's eyes widened in surprise, and with a hint of joy, it growled in a monster language. Seeing his wife looking in his direction, Nebuchadnezzar walked towards the house with little tears in his eyes. Honey! He is right. You need to go to heaven where the good spirits reside. When my time arrives, I will come there. This time you will be the one to build an eternal house there, where we will be happy together for eternity. Realizing he is going to part ways with his wife, Nebuchadnezzar's voice becomes emotional, and explains it with a weak smile. Hearing her husband's emotional voice, Constance becomes emotional. The two lovers start to converse emotionally, even though they can't understand what the house is saying, but the old man Nebuchadnezzar seems to understand due to living with it for a long time. Kong, who seemed to finish his job even though it took an unexpected turn, got the result and walked towards the group. Shoo! Shoo! Kong, I knew you could do it. Jenny jumped and embraced Kong, smiling widely. Stare! Underscore 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 underscore. Feeling Kang's gaze on her, Jenny asked him with an innocent smile on her face. What? Feeling Kang's gaze on her, Jenny asked him with an innocent smile on her face. My mother once warned me you are a devil. I didn't believe her, but today I saw with my own eyes. Seeing Jenny's expression, Kong blurted out without realizing it. What? Kong, I can't believe what I heard. I was the only one who believed you. I was the one who supported the idea. Kong, how can you be this cruel? Hearing Kong murmur, Jenny burst into anger like an active volcano and started nagging him. Underscore 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 underscore. I should be the one who gets angry. Right. Kong looked at his wife in confusion. After chatting with Constance and convincing her, Nebuchadnezzar walked towards the group and explained with a heavy heart. It seems Nebuchadnezzar was contented with his farewell speech to his beloved wife and informed them that she was ready to depart. Sigh. It seems like Kong had this time, hey. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Jojo, who was reading the report and the voicemail Alice who explained everything, laughed loudly, which startled Hope, who was going to knock on the door. Asterisk. Author's POV. Guys, do you want to increase the harem members? Currently, Alice Cullen, Rosalie, Hope Mike Olson, Wednesday Adams. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 69, Chapter 64, Freya stands firm in her decision. I will be expanding the harem in this FIC, but I want to clarify that I won't be treating it like collecting trophies. Each edition will be meaningful to the story and characters. Whether the relationships develop slowly or quickly will depend on the story's progression and any time skips that occur. So, please understand that there are no hard feelings, and I appreciate your understanding. Current target, Freya Mike Olson. Your suggestions. Asterisk. New Orleans. Mika Elson's compound. A few hours before, Hope had been suspended overnight for donating her blood to one of the wolf pups studying alongside her. His name is Henry Benoit, and he always felt an inferiority complex towards his pack mates. She was sent to the Mikhaelsons' house overnight by Alaric Saltzman because he didn't want to be too involved in the Mikhaelsons' problem. When they contacted Haley and informed her about the matter, she was utterly shocked by how foolish her daughter was. After ending the call, she immediately called Freya in a hurry. Ring. Ring. Hello? What happened, Haley? Freya answered from the other side, implying she was busy with something. Underscore 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 underscore. Freya, it is important. Hope has given her blood to her classmate named Henry Benoit. Hearing Freya's tired voice from the other end, Haley was a little stunned and started to explain the urgent situation in one go. Underscore 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 underscore. Freya was searching in the family library they had collected over time and other places for any information about the demons they faced before. After the previous incident, her worldview had been completely shattered. She and her family had always believed that they were at the top of the food chain in this world until now. But everything changed after she accompanied Jojo on his previous mission. That was the day she was subjected to a new side of the supernatural world. Until now, she and her family were just the tip of an iceberg. What made her anxious was that after living all these years, they didn't even know anything about this side. So after the incident, she immersed herself in research to get as much information as she could. And there is another reason for this: she wanted to be distracted from her unnecessary thoughts. Before she could find her answer here, another problem came and knocked on the door of Mikaelson's. Sigh. Do Klaus know? With a deep sigh, Freya asked with a serious tone. Sigh. Yeah, it seems like Alaric informed him and called me next. They put the entire problem on our heads and sent Hope back from the dormitory. With a defeated sigh, Haley rolled her eyes in annoyance, not happy about how the Salvatore boarding school treated this. I will be there in a few minutes. Ding! Ding! Freya closed the book she was reading and went towards her room to change her dress. Ring! Ring! When she was about to exit the room, once again the phone started ringing. She went to it and attended the call. Freya, it's me, Keelan. A voice was heard from the other end. Underscore. How have you been, Keelan? Hearing her lover's voice, Freya became happy and asked her in concern. Yeah, I am fine. How have you been? Do you still want to stay in New Orleans? Freya, we can leave happily and peacefully here and help those who need medical attention. Keelan with a deep voice asked Freya to reconsider her decision. In the past 7 years, many things have changed. Even though they both are in a relationship, they have drifted away due to the different paths they chose. Keelan wanted Freya to accompany her and move out from New Orleans, leaving behind the Mikaelsons family. But Freya didn't accept her decision at that time. So they both separated and drifted apart, even to the extent that they contacted each other rapidly over time. It's been 10 months since they last chatted. Now, once again Keelan asked Freya to reconsider her decision. Underscore. Hearing Keelan once again suggest she move away from her family when they needed her most, Freya became silent for a few seconds to organize her thoughts. Keelan, I know you love me, but I can't forsake my family for you. Freya answered the other end with narrowed eyes. Underscore. Sigh. It seems it's time for us to move on, Freya. Keelan answered with a heavy heart and cut the call without waiting for the reply. Present. Hope, who arrived at the Mikaelson compound, exited the car she came from. Haley, who noticed Hope had arrived, waited for her to enter the house to give her some nice scolding. She walked towards the window and looked outside. Hope, who exited the car, took a step towards the Mikaelsons compound and stopped. Will Jojo be in his house? Should I visit him? He will be surprised, right? With a smirk, Hope started walking towards the opposite house of Mikaelson's compound without any worry about what she had just done. Where Jojo was currently staying. Underscore. This girl. Really? Haley, who was waiting for Hope to enter the house, was left speechless seeing her daughter without care, walking towards her cousin's house after causing a ruckus there. She gritted her teeth while swallowing her anger. Hope, who walked towards Jojo's house, went near the door to knock on it. But was startled by the laughter from the house. Is it Jojo? Why is he laughing so loudly? Did he already get the information on my suspension? Hope becomes a little panicked, thinking Jojo might already know she was suspended from the school. Gulp. With a gulp, she rang the bell and knocked on the door. Who? Jojo, who was laughing after reading the report and the voicemail of Alice, heard someone ringing the bell. So, he walked towards the door and opened it to see who might be visiting him this late. There was no one before the door. Underscore. He looked outside with a confused look on his face. Boo! Suddenly, Hope jumped from the side with a boo, raising both hands like a claw. Whoa! Hope! What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in Mystic Falls? Seeing Hope standing before him, Jojo was startled and asked her in confusion. Ah! That's... Hearing Jojo's question, Hope smiled awkwardly. Seeing Hope's reaction, Jojo's eyes widened in realization. Don't tell me the plot is beginning. He had been waiting for the plot to start for the past 2 months because he didn't know the exact day when it would start. Cough. Cough. Suddenly, a cough interrupted them when they tried to see who it was. Hope dear. It seems like you don't want to visit your mother after the surprise you have given to me. Haley walked toward them with a kind smile on her face, but for some reason, Hope and Jojo felt a dark aura around her. Mother! Mother, I... Seeing her mother smiling ominously at her, Hope avoided her eyes while stuttering. Did you understand what you have done, Hope? Do you understand the impact of your action? Haley's voice increased with depth in each word she uttered. I just wanted to help him. Looking at the imposing figure before her, Hope answered meekly. What? I didn't hear. Hearing Hope's voice decreases with each moment, the anger in Haley's voice rises sharply. Calm down, Haley. Let's hear her first. Seeing her anxiousness about Haley, Jojo once again tried to calm her down. Well. What do we have here? They were interrupted by an irritated voice that made Haley smile hearing it, while Haley rolled her eyes. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review in Power Stone. Chapter 70, Chapter 65, Damn, you possessive psychopath. While Haley was scolding Hope for the stunt she pulled into the school, Jojo was trying to calm her down. Seeing her mother was very angry at her, Hope became nervous and her voice started to get lower. Do you have any idea what you have done? Looking at Hope, who didn't understand the consequences of her actions, Haley's anger only increased. Sigh. Calm down, Haley, let's hear her out first. Jojo, seeing the situation was getting out of control, placed his hands on Haley's shoulder and tried to calm her down. Come in. Jojo invited Haley inside his house for a talk while signaling Hope with his eyes to get inside the house. Sigh. With a sigh, Haley nodded her head, and all three of them were about to enter the house. Well, what do we have here? They were interrupted by an irritated voice. When Hope heard it, a big smile blossomed on her face, while Haley rolled her eyes hearing it. Care to explain what is happening here, my love? A man with a slimy but well-built body, curled dirty blonde hair, and dark blue-green eyes that contrast with his pearl-white skin, which indicates his vampire traits. Father. Hope ran at inhuman speed and hugged her father. Underscore. Gulp. After a few minutes of awkward silence, Klaus broke the silence. Hope, we need to talk about what you have done in your school. Before that, care to introduce who is this gentleman hugging my husky? Seeing his daughter hugging him, Klaus felt a little guilty because he couldn't be near her all this time. What the fuck, man? Why are you looking at me like that? Feeling Klaus's gaze on him, Jojo shuddered. Oh, father, let me introduce you to. Father, he is Jojo, head of DMC, who is a specialist in solving supernatural cases. We employed him to solve Hollow. Jojo, meet my dad, Klaus Mikaelson. When Hope heard Klaus's question with great enthusiasm, she introduced him. Hi. Jojo acknowledged him with an awkward smile. Seeing his cute daughter smiling like a maiden fallen in love with the boy before him, Klaus's anger started to rise steadily while his eyes were twitching. Damn, I should have kept frequent tabs on her. Should I save my daughter like I saved my beloved sister Rebecca? There were several ideas on how to kill the boy before him that flashed in his head. Are you kidding me, Hope? Is he fooling you to get close to you? Listening to his daughter's explanation, Kaluz was suddenly about to make a move on Jojo, who was smiling at him smugly. Stop it, Klaus. Why are you here? Seeing the musclehead before her was going to do something stupid again, Haley asked him with narrowed eyes. _______. For what do you think? Haley, I let Hope in your care, but see what has happened. He is trying to play tricks on Hope. Hearing Haley's voice, Klaus snapped in annoyance because his daughter was on the verge of corruption. He can help us. Hearing him, Haley's eyebrows twitched in annoyance and supported Jojo. Don't tell me you believe him. You. Are you? Klaus, who heard Haley gasp in shock, was expecting her to take his side. Believe her, Klaus. If anyone can do something about Hollow, it's him. When Klaus was going to yell at Haley for putting their daughter in danger, a voice interrupted him. _______. Freya, don't tell me you to take the side of this kid. Did you forget what would happen if Hollow broke out? When he was interrupted by Freya, who just arrived, he thought she was going to support him, but to his dismay, she too took the side of Jojo. Inside Mikhailson's compound, Hope, Freya, Haley, and Klaus were in a heated argument, and they each took their turns to scold Hope for what she had done. ________. Seeing even her aunt scold her, Hope became dejected while Jojo consoled her. Sigh. With a sigh, Hope went to her room while Jojo tried to follow her. Boy, where do you think you are going? Kaluz's gloomy voice sounded before Jojo could follow Hope to her room. Uncle, I just want to console Hope. Hearing the question from Klaus, Jojo gulped and tried to explain but failed and took his seat once again. Reading the open book expression on Klaus, who was sending daggers with narrowed eyes. ________. Damn, you possessive psychopath. These were the only thoughts in Freya, Haley, and Jojo's minds. What should we do about that boy, Henry? Haley broke the silence and asked the important question with a serious expression. Let's kill him. Dare to take advantage of Hope? Klaus said with his iconic smile and stood from the couch. No, I have called Marcel and asked him to see the situation on the boy's end. Freya stopped Klaus and explained to him that she already contacted Marcel about this matter. While Jojo didn't interfere in their talk, he simply sat in his place. All this time, Klaus's eyes didn't leave him even though he was arguing with Haley and Freya. Even though Jojo could beat the shit out of the man before him, for some reason, Jojo felt the need to keep his calm. Tack. Tack. While the discussion was going on, a small noise of a window opening and someone entering the house was heard by everyone downstairs. Hope's room. Hope, who was lying in bed while hugging a pillow, thinking about the matter her mother and father scolded her for, even her aunt scolded her a little. Tack. She heard the window in her room open, she lifted her head and looked at the window with narrowed eyes. Who is there? She asked while someone landed behind the curtain. It's me, Hope. An innocent voice was heard from behind the curtain when the figure came out. Roman, what are you doing here? Seeing her classmate was the one who broke into her room, Hope asked, withdrawing her vigilance. Hope, how are you? I heard you were suspended from. Sigh. I am fine. I am worried about Henry. Seeing Roman was worried about her, Hope smiled, and with a sigh, she explained about her worry. Don't worry, I am here. Boom. Just when he was about to touch the shoulders of Hope to console her, the door to Hope's room blasted away. Fucking bastard. Don't even dream about it. Fucking bastard. Don't even dream about it. A flaming monster, whose skeleton is visible to the naked eye, and an angry father hybrid barges into the room. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 71, Chapter 66, Let me ask him nicely. When Hope lowered her guard against Roman, who broke into her room, he replied he was worried about her, so he came here to check on her. Sigh. Seeing Roman worrying about her, she smiled and, with a sigh, she started to explain to him about her worry. Feeling the right opportunity, Roman walked towards Hope with a little smirk. His hands approached, hoping to take this chance to get closer to her. Don't worry, I am here. Boom. But before he could finish his sentence or lay his finger on her, the door to the room was blasted off with a loud sound. Thud. Fucking bastard. Don't even dream about it. Fucking bastard. Don't even dream about it. A flaming monster, whose skeleton is visible to the naked eye, and an angry father hybrid barged into the room. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Seeing Klaus with the flaming monster, Roman's eyes widened in shock. His gentle face broke, and panic started to resurface on his face. This is wrong, why is Klaus here? Shouldn't he be away from his daughter? If he is here, that means Mother's plan will fail. I should explain to Mother about this. Roman's mind was in a state of chaos because his mother's entire plan started on the basis of Klaus's absence from his daughter. When Hope noticed Jojo and Klaus broke into her room with a confused look. Father, Jojo, what happened? Why did you guys break the door? She questioned them while both Klaus and Jojo didn't take their eyes off Roman, who was sitting a little close to her. Underscore 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 underscore. Seeing the situation getting worse, Roman tried to escape. Who are you, kid? Explain yourself, otherwise, I will rip your head off. Klaus moved toward Roman at high speed and captured him, who tried to escape through the window he entered using his inhuman speed. Thud. Klaus hit Roman against the wall and lifted him by his neck with killing intent radiating from him. Hope. Help. Feeling the grip on his throat getting tighter, Roman's eyes fixed on Hope and asked for help with difficulty. Father, he is my classmate. He doesn't mean any harm. Seeing Roman being bashed against the wall by Klaus and Hope trying to intervene. Stop it, Hope. He lied to you about the reason for his visit. When Hope was about to interject, Jojo stopped her and warned her that Roman lied to her. A few minutes before, when Jojo and others heard someone opening the window on the first floor, they stopped what they were discussing. They heard the conversation between Roman and Hope with their super hearing. Jojo felt malice in the boy's voice he heard. So he transformed into his Ghost Rider form, which shocked Klaus, who saw a Ghost Rider for the first time. What they? His eyes laid on Freya and Haley to see they were calm about this. So he confirmed that both of them already knew about this matter. Whoever it is, they have malicious intent towards Hope. Jojo, as a Ghost Rider, turned to look towards Haley and informed. Hearing Jojo, one rushed towards Hope's room. There Klaus and Jojo heard Roman blasting through the door. Present. Underscore 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 underscore. Hearing Jojo expose Roman was acting, Hope became shocked. Boom. Tell me, why do you approach my daughter? Klaus punched Roman's guts while holding him by his neck, his eyes started to turn black, and his fangs were visible. All he wanted to do was rip the dead heart of the bastard before him. I just wanted to check on Hope, to see she is all right. Feeling the killing intent from Klaus directed towards him, Roman shivered and hurried to lie. Underscore 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 underscore. Seeing the condition of Roman in the hands of her father, Hope didn't know what to do. She would have stepped up to stop her father because she knew her father was quite overprotective when it came to his family. But this time, Jojo stopped her before she could speak and informed her that Roman had other intentions for getting here. Klaus, let's take him to the basement. Freya walked next to Klaus, folded her hands, and sneered looking at the struggling Roman. Shit, shit, shit. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Feeling the oppression from the two Mikaelsons in front of him, Roman wanted to scream and run away from this place and never come back. Yeah, let's take him to the basement. Daring to break into our house with malicious intent towards Hope. Death is too easy for him. Glancing at Roman with disgust, Haley accepted Freya's proposal. Mother! Mother, you said Klaus would not be here, damn it! Seeing his situation getting out of hand, Roman could only curse in his mind. Underscore. Bang! Seeing Roman panicking, Klaus's fist landed on his chin fiercely. Ah! Sigh! Klaus, control your range, we need to find what his purpose is. Looking at Klaus, who punched the kid fiercely without holding back, Freya tried to remind Klaus. I don't have any malice towards you guys. Seeing his opportunity to escape death, Roman tried to capitalize on this given opportunity desperately. Because he and his family have experienced how cruel Klaus can be when it comes to his enemy. Give him here, let me ask him nicely. Seeing the motherfucker still denying he was innocent, Jojo stepped in while looking at Roman intensely with his hollow eyes. Underscore. 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 Let's leave it to Jojo. Freya nodded her head in approval without any second thought. No, don't give me to this monster. Seeing the Mikaelsons planning to give him to the strange monster with raging fire covering his skeleton, Roman started trying to break free of Klaus's grip with all his force. Underscore. Seeing his sister vouching for Jojo standing behind him, Klaus stuffed Roman into Jojo's hands. Ah! Leave me! I am telling the truth. Seeing himself being stuffed into the arms of Jojo in his Ghost Rider form, Roman tried to break the skeleton's hands with his enhanced strength. Thud! Ah! Jojo grabbed one of Roman's hands and slammed him into the ground with great force, which caused the floor to creak upon impact. After that, he took the chair near the table and placed it on top of Roman, blocking him from getting up and sitting on top of it. Hee now. Now, boy. We've had enough of your nonsense. From now on, you are only allowed to speak the truth. Understand? Taking his seat, Jojo's foot put pressure on one of Roman's hands, causing him to scream, and the 4 fingers on his left hand were burned to a crisp. Why? Why? It shouldn't be like this. After screaming, sometimes Roman's face broke, and he shouted in unwillingness, looking at Klaus, Hope, and others with hatred. Underscore. Gulp. Seeing that Roman had finally started showing his true face, Hope couldn't help but be shocked to see the hatred in his eyes. What shouldn't be like this? Jojo inquired in a cold tone without any emotion. He knew the reason for Roman to get here, but now he needed to make Roman confess himself. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 72, Chapter 67, well, both are toxic anyway. When Jojo, in his Ghost Rider form, noticed that Roman was not going to rant his lies, he pressed his boot on Roman's left hand's finger. Now. Now, boy, we've had enough of your nonsense. From now on, you are only allowed to speak the truth. Understand? Calmly, Jojo's boot pressed with a little strength while the temperature increased on his foot. Roman's finger couldn't take it and immediately started to burn to a crisp. Ah! When Roman experienced his fingers and one of his hands turning to crisps, he screamed in agony, tears continuously running down from his eyes. He shook his body vigorously, trying to dislodge Jojo, who was locking him using a chair while sitting on top of it. Even though he had enhanced strength, he couldn't break free. For some reason, he felt weak under the hollow gaze of Jojo, who seemed to be enjoying his suffering. Why? Why? It shouldn't be like this. Feeling the burning sensation not disappearing from his hands, Roman shouted unwillingly while looking at Klaus and Hope with hatred. When Hope looked at the hatred-filled gaze directed by Roman towards her, she was shocked and felt hurt. Even in school, many of her classmates and schoolmates always looked at her with hatred or fear. They always spoke about her and her family behind her back. So, very few considerable amount of people were willing to chat with her normally. She believed Roman was one of them who could be a good friend to her. But she was wrong. Currently, she was seeing Roman, whose face was torn by Jojo, looking at her with hatred. What shouldn't be like this? Jojo turned Roman's face toward him with his foot and asked him, while Roman's gaze turned towards him. I. When Roman met Jojo's eyes, he shivered and started to stutter in fear. He had never felt this way while facing someone. Even Klaus before him didn't give him this feeling. Klaus could kill him and torture him easily. He felt fear while facing him, but facing Jojo, he felt hopeless, scared, and oppressed like no other, and he felt his mind was an open book before Jojo. Everything should have gone according to plan until this monster showed up and messed up Mother's perfect plan. Roman gave Jojo a look which seemed to say it's all your fault. ________. I don't know who you are. What are you? The problem is between us and those filthy mixed bloods. Why are you helping them? Seeing he has no choice, Roman wants to take a gamble and try to pressure Jojo to release him. Mixed bloods. When Jojo heard Roman, he acted confused and looked at Klaus for an answer. Sigh. Jojo, let me explain. Hearing Roman's reason, Freya with a sigh started to explain to Jojo. You see, Klaus before you, he was the first hybrid between werewolf and vampire. When an offspring is born with the traits of two different species, it's called a hybrid or mixed blood, as he is referring to. Freya pointed at Klaus and explained to Jojo, while Roman below Jojo gave a look filled with hatred directed at Klaus. _______. Jojo acted surprised and turned towards Roman, tilting his head. _______. So you are kind of racist, not a kind of purist, right? Looking at Roman, Jojo calmly asked while scratching his skull. Well, both are toxic anyway. Were the thoughts in Jojo's head. He never had a plan to let this guy and his mother leave anyway. In his previous world, while watching this show, he wanted to punch this guy's face whenever he saw him smiling while taking advantage of Hope's friendship. _______. You don't understand. Their existence itself is against nature. They will only bring destruction to this world. Hearing Jojo's remark about him, Roman roared with a crazy look. Which was like one of the looks those crazy cult members gave him while preaching about how they were going to clean the world. Ha 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 ha. Typical preaching, hey. You guys never realize your mistakes. Hearing Roman's reason for the Mikhailson's existence, Jojo laughed loudly and mocked him. Freya, search his memory. Let's see clearly for ourselves. It seems like he lost his mind. Haley nudged Freya to read Roman's memory, who seemed to have lost his mind. Sigh. Okay. Freya walked towards Roman and cast a spell on him to read his memory. Ah! When the spell took effect, Roman started to scream, the nerves on his face bulging, signaling the strain the spell put on his mind. Would Freya care about it? Nah. She, without any mercy, used the spell to its maximum effort. Ah! Only Roman's screams were heard for a few minutes all over the room. Phew! After the spell concluded, Freya let out a relieved sigh, then turned to look at the others and nodded her head, indicating she was successful in her attempt. I will explain. It seems like he got Hope's information from Salvatore boarding school. Freya looked at Haley and Klaus and said with a serious tone, her eyes narrowed, indicating the seriousness of the situation. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Let's first take him to the basement and lock him there with a salt boundary spell. Haley suggested that Roman might still hold some use to them. Let's kill him. Klaus, upon hearing Haley's suggestion of imprisoning Roman in the basement instead of killing him, suggested his own. Ahem. Ahem. Seeing Haley and Klaus arguing about what to do with Roman, Freya coughed deliberately to get their attention. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. I think he can be given a better punishment than us. Freya pointed at Jojo while giving a deadpan look to both Haley and Klaus, who were arguing. What to do with him, Hope? Feeling the attention on him, Jojo looked at Hope, waiting for her answer. Underscore 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 underscore. Sigh. He approached me with bad intentions today. If not for Jojo and Dad, he would have succeeded in his intention. I won't forgive someone who wanted to harm my family, Jojo. So, I support whatever decision you take. Seeing Jojo caring about her feelings, Hope felt touched and gave Roman a cold look. She walked towards Jojo, and hugged him, burying her face in his back while saying the last part. Underscore 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 underscore. I know, damn it. I know he's not the good guy. Klaus, who saw his little princess now hugging a boy before him, shouted offendedly. Underscore 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 underscore. Chuckle. Be careful, you might get hurt. Seeing Hope's antics and Klaus's ugly expression, looking at this scene felt amused. God. Please, kill me. I can't take this anymore. Roman felt like a third wheel while Jojo and Hope being lovey-dovey gave him poses like they were taking wedding pictures. Underscore 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 underscore. Freya, I will kill him. Jojo stood from the chair and lifted it, freeing Roman. Seeing his chance, Roman tried to retaliate and ran away, but he was captured by Jojo, who caught him easily by his neck. Wah! Jojo lifted Roman by his neck while he was trying to punch Jojo, which was all in vain. Do you want to view your sins? Then look into my eyes. Jojo moved Roman close to his face, forcing him to look into his eyes. Ah! Ah, please forgive me. Dia. Kenny. No, don't. Ah, please. Gulp. Seeing the horrified expression Roman was giving off while looking at Jojo and screaming with different names made Haley gulp in shock, while Freya looked at them with a smirk, observing Haley's shocked face. While Klaus looked at Jojo with interest, at first he was not expecting much, but now he felt interested in what he was doing to Roman. For some reason, he felt satisfied. Ah! Roman, who was struggling, suddenly became silent without any movement. Thud. Jojo threw Roman down, which made everyone take a close look at his eyes. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. What happened to him? Jojo, why do his eyes look like that? Hope asked him while curiously looking at Roman, whose eyes were turned into charred black with cracks of heat in them. Chuckle. Well, it is one of my abilities to punish someone by gazing at their soul through their eyes and destroying it in the most painful way. Jojo chuckled while explaining his ability to Hope, while the others also listened with interest. Tomorrow let's visit this school you are talking about. And Freya, now you can explain what you saw in his memory. After explaining to Hope about his ability, Jojo turned to Freya and asked her to explain what she saw in Roman's memory. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review in Power Stone. Chapter 73, Chapter 68, all we need to do is get Elijah back. When Hope looked at the motionless Roman lying on the ground curiously, she was shocked to see his eyes. They had turned charred black with tiny cracks emitting heat. Klaus and Haley, too, became shocked and looked at Jojo for his answer, while Freya shook her head in amusement because she had seen him use the same skill in the old church. What happened to him, Jojo? Why do his eyes look like that? Hope turned to Jojo and asked curiously while pointing her fingers at Roman's eyes. Chuckle. Well, it is one of my abilities to punish someone by gazing at their soul through their eyes and destroying it in the most painful way. With a chuckle, Jojo started explaining his ability to Hope, while the others also listened with interest. Tomorrow let's visit this school you are talking about. And Freya, now you can explain what you saw in his memory. After explaining his ability to Hope, Jojo turned to Freya and asked her to explain what she saw in Roman's memory. Puff! With a kick from Jojo, Roman's lifeless body was sent flying, and his body turned to fire crisps, disappearing into the air like he was never present there. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Sigh. While I read Roman's memory, his mother Greta seems to have wanted to destroy our family. She sent Roman to Salvatore boarding school to get close to Hope. She believes all the hybrids must be exterminated, and she has many followers in her community. After Jojo cleaned Roman's dead body by burying it in crisps, Freya, with a serious tone and narrowed eyes that emphasized the gravity of the situation, started to explain. When she mentioned Greta's name, Klaus's face turned cold, and his eyes flashed with guilt. It was noticed by Jojo and Hope, who were listening to Freya. Sigh. Seeing the guilt-filled Klaus before her, Freya could only sigh. Even though Klaus was in the phase of redemption after all he did over the years when his werewolf side was forcefully bound by their mother, he would still eliminate anyone he deemed unworthy or a threat to his family, even if it meant destroying a human settlement. She not only plans to kill us, she wants to use Elijah against us. It seems like she erased his memory and left him in the care of her daughter Antoinette. It seems like our old brother has a lover. While saying the last part, Freya looked at Haley and then turned to Klaus to gauge their reactions. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Both were speechless upon hearing that Elijah was the one who would be going against them this time. I will go and bring him back. Klaus stood and started walking out of the room but was stopped by Jojo. What? Seeing that he was stopped by Jojo from going to get Elijah back, Klaus was puzzled. Calm down, Klaus. Let's first think of an appropriate plan. Don't forget Elijah's memory about us has been erased, and now he is in love with Antoinette. Do you think he will trust you, an enemy in his eyes now? Noticing that Klaus was not happy being stopped from going to get Elijah back, Freya hurriedly walked in front of Klaus and started to explain to him. The last thing she wanted was for Klaus to act with impulse and anger, which might even change their relationship with Elijah completely. Then what should we do? Sit and let Greta do as she likes and play with my brother's feelings. Looking at Freya, who was opposing his idea along with Jojo, Klaus roared in anger. Ring! Ring! Suddenly, Freya's mobile started ringing. She took it and saw Marcel was the one who was calling her. After hearing Marcel from the other end, Freya cut the call and turned towards Hope. It seems Marcel was able to locate Henry Benoit. He's locked him in the garden of his house. The Crescent Wolf Pack was not happy with this and decided to exile him if he successfully transformed into a hybrid. Freya informed Hope about the situation on Marcel's side and what was happening there. Underscore 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 underscore. It's my fault. I should have been more careful and rejected him when he asked me for my blood. Hope, upon hearing Henry's situation, lowered her head in guilt and started blaming herself for his condition now. No need to feel guilty. He wanted to have power. By listening to Roman, he wholeheartedly wanted to become a hybrid. This is his decision, he must take responsibility for it. Seeing the guilt-stricken Hope who was sad, Jojo nudged her, comforted her, and told her she was not to blame for this. How? How do you know Roman was the one who manipulated Henry? Hope, upon hearing Jojo, turned towards him and asked. Well, by punishing him, I will also be able to see the memory of the crimes he committed, you see. He manipulated some even before Henry, but they all failed. After explaining to Hope not to feel guilty for what Henry chose for himself, Jojo turned to Freya and asked whether she could bring back Elijah's memory. Well, I can, but the condition for it is that Elijah must wholeheartedly want to regain his memory. Otherwise, it will be a long process to bring back all his memories. Hearing Jojo's question, Freya nodded her head and explained the catch for the spell. Then let me, Freya, and Klaus go to Elijah, while Haley and Hope go to where Henry is held. What do you guys think? When Jojo heard Freya's answer, he nodded his head and informed them about his plan. I will call Cole and Rebecca and inform them about this matter. Hearing Jojo's plan to split into two teams, Freya took her mobile and started calling Cole, while she knew Rebecca might already know it from Marcel. So, she first called Cole. After half an hour, while Jojo, Freya, and Klaus left to get Elijah back, Hope and Haley left for Marcel's house, while Cole would meet up with them there. In France. Elijah is here. All we need to do is get Elijah back. Klaus pointed at the house with narrowed eyes. Sigh. We need to make him willingly accept his memory. Freya chimed in with a worried look, eyeing the house before them. When they entered the room where Elijah was, they were greeted by a calm Elijah who was playing the piano. In Forks. Mother, when will Jojo come? Alex walked towards Jenny, who was reading the book she borrowed from Carlisle when they visited the Cullens' house after being invited by Esme. Sigh. Well, he was stuck with an important case there. He won't be able to come until he gets any clue on it. Looking at the bored Alex before her, Jenny sighed and shook her head. Awoo-ka-ah. While he was a little sad that Jojo wouldn't be coming back soon, suddenly he was greeted by various sounds from his father. He moved towards the room where the sounds were coming from. When he opened the door, he was greeted by Kong, who was trying to practice martial arts by watching TV and imitating it. Mom, what is father doing? Alex pointed at his father with confusion. Underscore. Well, I don't know. He's been like that since coming back from the previous mission. Jenny touched her chin while thinking and shrugged her shoulders. In France. Your name is Elijah Mikaelson. You may not remember who you are or your family, but we need your help. Our family is in crisis. I have come to take you back. Seeing Elijah still playing the piano without looking at them, Klaus spoke first. Underscore. But Elijah didn't respond and continued to play the music on the piano. Say something, brother. Seeing Elijah not responding, Klaus snapped at him. Underscore. I am not your brother. Hearing Klaus call him brother, Elijah finally stopped playing and gazed calmly at Klaus, speaking finally. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 74, Chapter 69, The Love and Family. When Jojo, Klaus, and Freya entered the room, they were greeted by the sight of Elijah sitting calmly, playing the piano, not reacting to the arrival of the guests who came to visit him. Your name is Elijah Mikaelson. You may not remember yourselves or your family, but we need your help, Elijah. Our family is in crisis. I have come to take you back. Seeing Elijah playing the piano without acknowledging them, Klaus broke the silence, uttering each word seriously without taking his eyes off Elijah. Underscore. But on the other end, Elijah, who heard Klaus's reminder, remained quiet and didn't stop playing the piano. Say something, brother. Being ignored by Elijah like that, Klaus raised his voice. The fingers of Elijah, who was playing the piano, stopped for a brief second. I am not your brother. Elijah's eyes locked on Klaus, Jojo, and Freya, and he finally responded calmly with slightly narrowed eyes. You are. And your family needs you. Hearing Elijah's indifferent words, Klaus couldn't hold back and snapped back at him in annoyance, while Freya put her hand on Klaus's shoulder to calm him down. She knew how much Klaus loved his family, to the point of obsession, which sometimes caused tension within the family. Elijah, you might not remember us. But when your memory returns, you might regret what you are currently doing instead of returning home with us. Freya walked forward and spoke calmly, with seriousness etched in her tone, trying to convince Elijah. This is my home. When Elijah heard Freya's warning of regretting not returning to his home, he denied it. Hearing Elijah declare that this was his home, Klaus's anger started to rise steadily. Sigh. Well, looking at the family drama unfolding before my eyes, just some popcorn is missing. Not participating in the family drama, Jojo didn't interrupt them, he just silently listened to their conversation. Antoinette entered the room with narrowed eyes and walked to the side of Elijah. You have responsibilities. You can't just abandon them for a fairy tale, playing piano in the French countryside. Seeing her, Klaus felt his bloodlust start to rise. All this happened because of the woman standing with Elijah and her mother. In anger, he pointed at Elijah and roared at him with sarcasm. I don't have all the memories, but I know about you and Rebecca, Cole, Freya, Hope, and even Haley. And I don't care about any of you. When Elijah heard Klaus's sarcasm, he snorted in disdain and started his speech in annoyance. You may have a wealth of knowledge at your disposal, facts, figures, names, and dates, but you lack all the feelings. The love and family. Elijah paused for a second and looked at the reaction of the three people in front of him. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. While Klaus was fuming in anger and Freya was looking at him with a serious expression, Jojo, the last one, seemed amused and watched their discussion like some kind of TV show. Who is he? Why is he with the Michaelsons? Is he connected to them? Why have I never heard of him? Antoinette narrowed her eyes. All this time, she didn't divert her attention from Jojo. Looking at his calm demeanor, Antoinette sensed something was amiss. 1,000 years of family. Elijah Michaelson spends every day of his wretched life trying to save you from yourself. I mean, I can't even imagine a more miserable existence. From what I understand, the poor bastard was lucky to find any moments of pleasure. Elijah looked at Klaus with disdain and sneered at him. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Hearing Elijah's statement, both Klaus and Freya were silent and didn't speak. That's not me. That's not who I am. I love this life. I love it all. I love the quiet night. The taste of my prey when they finally meet their demise. I worship every single dawn I spend here. Here is where I am truly, truly loved. Noticing the silence of both Klaus and Freya, Elijah stopped. He continued and declared, here is where he is truly loved. Ahem. Ahem. Klaus, let's first bring his memory back. Then we will hear his decision. Seeing the situation not getting any better, Jojo finally interjected. I won't allow it. You just want to destroy our life just like how you took my brother into your custody just because he is involved with your daughter. Not liking the direction the situation was taking, Antoinette hurriedly interjected with a little panic. She knew how much Elijah cared for his brother and his family, so if the memory returned to Elijah, there was a chance that he might abandon her for his family. I can't let that happen. These were the only thoughts in her mind. Underscore 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 underscore. Seeing his love, Antoinette panicked for no reason. Elijah looked at her confusedly. I lie. Your brother entered my daughter's room without any permission with malicious intent. When Antoinette mentioned his daughter, Klaus roared in anger at the blunt accusation. Well, there is a correction. I killed him. Looking at Antoinette, who was trying to stop them from bringing back Elijah's memories, Jojo sneered with a wide grin. ________. Hearing her brother was dead, Antoinette was shocked. How dare you? When Antoinette heard that Jojo killed her brother, she became angry and screamed at him. Seeing Antoinette angry, Elijah also prepared to attack, while Freya and Klaus also took their stance for the confrontation. Do you love her? Jojo pointed at Antoinette and turned to Elijah, asking him seriously. Yes, I do. I love her. Hearing Jojo's question, Elijah didn't hesitate and answered immediately. Then what is there to worry about getting your memory back? Seeing Elijah take the bait, Jojo questioned him with a grin. ___________. No, I won't allow it. Antoinette once again interjected, refusing to let Elijah get his memory back. What are you worried about? If he truly loves you, he will love you even after getting his memory back. Jojo snorted and asked Antoinette back if Elijah loved her. Now listen, your adoptive mother lied to you. Your brother Roman was ordered by Greta to get close to Klaus's daughter to gain her trust and later use it to destroy the Mikaelson family. Well, he failed, as we have captured him. Seeing that Antoinette was angry at him, Jojo explained to her about the intention of her adoptive mother. _________. When she heard Jojo, she was shocked to hear about Greta's plan. She wants to use you and Elijah as pawns in this grand scheme of hers. Do you know why? Seeing the shocked look on Antoinette's face and Elijah's curious gaze, Jojo asked her a question with a serious expression. __________. Because Elijah is an original, she needs someone to stop Klaus if a fight breaks out. Antoinette's eyes widened in realization, and she spoke the next sentence with a shocked face. Even though she wanted to refuse, saying her mother wouldn't do something like that, she couldn't, because she already knew the answer. She also suspected a little when Greta came to visit her a few weeks before. After her adoptive father died at the hands of Klaus, Greta changed completely and started creating groups that believed in purity. But she didn't expect her to use her family as a pawn to achieve her goals. Don't worry. If he loves you, he will not abandon you even if he gets his memories back. Seeing that, Antoinette started to think. Jojo didn't waste any time and once again convinced her to let Elijah regain his memory. ________. When Antoinette heard Jojo, she didn't know what to say. I will do it. I have confidence that I truly love her. I will prove it to her. Looking at Antoinette, who was hesitating, Elijah didn't hesitate. He believes that with memories or not, he would love her. He wanted to prove it to them and also to Antoinette. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 75, Chapter 70, Close Your Eyes and Sing. When Antoinette listened to Jojo's explanation, she became silent and hesitant, caught between the dilemma of whether Elijah would accept her after getting his memory back or if he would break up with her. She didn't even want to think of Elijah abandoning her. Don't worry. If he truly loves you, then he will not abandon you even if he gets his memory back. Watching Antoinette hesitate, Jojo continued to pursue her, seeing that it was successful. When Antoinette heard Jojo, she didn't know what to say. I will do it. I have confidence that I truly love her. I will prove it to her. Looking at Antoinette, who was hesitating, Elijah didn't hesitate. He believed that with his memory or not, he would love her. He wanted to prove it to them and also to Antoinette. Phew. Well, then that settles it. Freya cast the spell. Seeing Elijah convinced, Klaus turned to Freya and urged her. Geez, Klaus, first I need to do some preparation to cast the memory recovery spell. Rolling her eyes, Freya walked towards the center of the room and began the preparations for the memory restoration spell by drawing runes on the floor. New Orleans. Marcel's garden. Marcel, Cole, Rebecca, Haley, and Hope stood before a boy who was screaming in pain inside a salt boundary spell, and Marcel was halfway close to closing the gap with the bricks on the wall where the boy was kept immobile. Ah! Ah! The boy was Henry, who was in anguish and pain, screaming with bloody eyes. He couldn't bear the pain at all. If he knew he would be like this, he would never have asked Hope to give him some blood. The pain was so intense that he felt his whole body was in pain, like being stung with thousands of needles. He also felt very hungry, like he had never eaten for a few months. Sigh. I am sorry, Henry. I didn't mean any of this to happen to you. You have to do what I say, remember. Seeing Henry in a terrible state, Hope let out a sigh with a sad look, walked closer to him, and tried to calm him down. Okay, now you are going to be calm. When you get out, I will be here, and we will be friends. If you get scared, close your eyes and sing. Hope tried her best to calm Henry and reassured him that everything was going to be fine. Great, so great. You guys sent Klaus instead of me or any of you to fetch Elijah without causing a big ruckus. When Cole heard that Klaus volunteered to go to France to get Elijah back, he looked at Haley and Hope in disbelief. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Hearing Cole, both Haley and Hope, who had just returned after the conversation, became silent. Well, Dad is not alone. Jojo and Aunt Freya went with him. So. I don't think any problem will arise there. Hope shook her head and stated that Jojo and Freya also went with Klaus. When Hope mentioned Jojo, a small smile crept on her face, which was noticed by Cole and Rebecca. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. Seeing Hope's reaction, both Cole and Haley were a little shocked. When Rebecca noticed Marcel was calm, she connected the dots. Her eyes widened in realization when she remembered Marcel mentioning Hope was seen with a boy who seemed too close to her. Phew, it seems like my little niece has a crush on someone. I want to see the reaction of your father when he finds this out. A smirk formed on Rebecca's face, and she started to tease Hope, whose face turned red hearing her. While saying the last part, a glint passed through her eyes with mischievousness. Sigh. She really wanted to see it, hey. Cole, who looked at his sister's reaction, immediately guessed what was going on in her mind. Well, if Hope is happy, that's all that matters. Shaking his head, Cole turned towards Haley, who was giving the same reaction as him, seeing Rebecca's creepy expression. Even though Marcel looked at her with dead eyes, her reaction was like an open book. Who is this Jojo? Is he a vampire or a werewolf? While Rebecca and Hope were chatting, Cole turned to Haley and inquired about Jojo curiously. Sigh. Well, it's a long story. Hearing Cole's question, Haley started to explain who Jojo was and how they met him, from the start to the present, while she explained it to both Marcel and Rebecca, who listened attentively. I can't believe what I hear. Did Klaus know Jojo is Hope's mate? With wide eyes, Cole turned towards Haley and asked the important question. Cough. No, well, many things happened, and we couldn't find the right time to disclose it to him. Haley shook her head, indicating that Klaus didn't know about it. France. Freya completed her preparation for the memory restoration spell. Well, Elijah, stand inside these ruins. Here. Freya pointed at the part where Elijah should stand after preparing the ruins. Elijah nodded his head and walked inside the ruins where Freya pointed. Elijah Mikaelson, do you want to recover your lost memory? Freya asked Elijah to get his consent, which is necessary to perform this spell. Yes, I do. Hearing Freya's question, Elijah nodded and gave his answer. Snap. After Elijah gave his answer, Klaus went to his backside and snapped Elijah's neck. "What do you think you are doing?" Seeing Klaus snap Elijah's neck, Elijah fell unconscious and roared in anger. "Calm down, Antoinette." To perform this spell, he needed to be in an unconscious state. Freya interjected and asked her to be calm. After stopping Antoinette, Freya went to cast the spell. Elijah's mind space. Elijah opened his eyes inside an empty room. He looked around, the room was empty. He got up from the floor and started to look around the room and opened the door to get out of the room. When he walked out of the room, he was greeted by women who looked oddly familiar to him, playing with a group of kids happily. Seeing the kids playing with the woman who seemed to be their mother happily made him feel happy. He saw a kid very familiar to him, which he concluded to be him. Later, the scene shifted to a man who was training his childhood self and other kids in swordsmanship. Elijah saw his childhood play before him, his bond with his family, and all. Everything was going fine until one day Klaus came home with his body fully covered in blood, carrying one of his brothers who was unconscious with a panicked face. "What happened, boy?" The older man, who is his father, asked, looking at both Klaus and Henrik covered in blood. Meanwhile, little Rebecca panicked and hugged her father tightly upon seeing the state of her brothers. ****. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 76, Chapter 71, Hunt for Greta. /n Sorry, guys, I have not uploaded a chapter for nearly a month. It is because my family situation was very tight, so I could not write new chapters. During that time, I was also searching for a job, which didn't go well. Now I am free, I will continue my work as usual. Seeing the condition of Henrik and Klaus, who were covered in blood, he asked in panic while others looked at them with worry. "What happened, boy?" Mikhail calmed his nerves and asked Klaus, who was crying while holding Henrik. Seeing her brothers in this condition, little Rebecca panicked and hugged her father tightly. "Today, I was interested in seeing the men turn to beasts in the full moon. Hearing me, Henrik decided to join me. After turning into beasts, they attacked us. Despite fighting them off, one got Henrik before I could save him." Klaus spoke with red eyes, tears streaming down his face, guilt etched in every word. Elijah, witnessing these memories, couldn't control his emotions, which were in turmoil. His memories started to change one after another. He began to experience every significant moment of his past, how their father killed him and his siblings, turning them into hybrids. How their mother sealed Klaus's power and later died, how they saved Freya. How they were hunted down by their father. And how his brother suffered emotional turmoil after his power was sealed. He witnessed everything, view by view, and felt the emotions and thoughts he had during those times. Meanwhile, Freya oversaw the spell she cast to prevent any mishaps. Klaus and Antoinette looked at Elijah, who was in deep slumber in the middle of the ruins on the floor. Antoinette nervously thought about what Jojo had mentioned. "Don't worry. If he truly loves you, he will not abandon you even if he gets his memory back. I will do it. I have confidence that I truly love her. I will prove it to her." Blurred images of Elijah looking at her lovingly, speaking seriously without breaking eye contact, replayed in her mind. Sigh. "Klaus, I will call Hope and inform them that we have succeeded and to start the next stage of the plan." Jojo broke the silence and took out his mobile to make a call. "New Orleans. Marcel's garden. Ha ha ha. I need to see his face when he knows that." Rebecca joined midway when Haley explained Jojo to Cole. She laughed sinisterly with a mischievous glint. "Mom, Jojo called me." Amid playful banter between the three, Hope walked towards them curiously and informed Haley. "Ooh, seems like our little princess has found her Prince Charming." Seeing Hope, Cole couldn't help but tease her. "Wah, what are you saying, Uncle?" When Hope heard Cole, her face blushed, and she stuttered. "Well, you need to take the lead, Hope. According to Haley, you've got quite a competition. Looking at the embarrassed Hope, Rebecca put a hand over her shoulder and said with a visible grin on her face. Ahem, ahem. Mother, Jojo informed me they have succeeded in getting Elijah back. They are performing the memory returning spell. He asked us to proceed with the second half of the plan. Noticing even her Aunt Rebecca joining Cole and teasing her, Hope changed the subject with a deliberate cough. Then all that's left is to kill Greta and her group of followers. Marcel joined the conversation after hearing Klaus and the group had succeeded in the first of the plans Freya had told him about. Hearing Marcel, the others also nodded. After neutralizing Elijah, everything would be solved easily by killing Greta and her group. No, we can't kill Greta. Everyone, ready to head to Greta's hideout after Freya read Roman's memory, stopped and looked at Hope. In the TV series, Greta would have wiped Roman's memory after successfully capturing Haley. But due to Jojo's intervention, Roman was caught before the plan was put forth. Freya and Jojo read his memories like an open book while punishing him for his sins. When everyone heard Hope's reluctance to kill Greta, they looked at her confusedly. Well, it seems like a small change in plan. Jojo informed me Uncle Elijah put forth the condition of not harming Antoinette and that she would be with him even after he got his memory back. So, to free Antoinette from Greta, we need to keep her alive for Aunt Freya to change her sire line. Feeling everyone's gaze, Hope quickly informed them about Antoinette's situation that Jojo mentioned. Sigh. It seems a miracle that Klaus didn't pounce on Antoinette after hearing Elijah's condition. Rebecca rolled her eyes, annoyed at her brother's aggression and possessiveness when it came to his family. Then what are we waiting for? Shall we go? Marcel looked at the others, who were ready and grinning at him without any hint of panic. Basement. Greta was currently looking at the vampire before her with narrowed eyes. What do you mean? Hey, according to your investigation, Roman has not returned yet. She asked, her tone increasing in volume. Everything is perfect. I planned it well. Where did my useless son go when I gave him an important assignment? Could it be he got caught? If this is true, they must have already attacked. Did he run away fearing Klaus? It must be it. After pondering for nearly 15 minutes, recalling her plan, she opened her eyes and looked at the vampire who reported to her. Keep a watch, he might send a signal. Wait for a day. If there is no signal from him, then you guys proceed with the attack on the Mikaelson compound and kidnap our target. Greta instructed the vampire coldly. Even if she knew about Roman's death, she wouldn't care and say it's to protect the natural order, sacrifice must be made. Just when she was about to sigh, thinking about what had gone wrong, they heard a battle cry coming from above the basement. Hearing the scream, Greta's face turned ugly. Fuck, how did they find out about this place? Did Henry betray me for that little bitch? Greta cursed and walked towards the door to exit the basement and escape from the attack as soon as possible. She knew who the attackers were. Who else would attack her other than the Mikaelsons? When she exited the basement, she was greeted by the sight of all the Mikaelson family members killing her followers one after another easily, except for Klaus and Elijah, who were currently with her daughter. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 77, Chapter 72, Where are you looking, bitch? When Greta exited the basement in a panic to escape as soon as possible, she was greeted by the sight of all her followers being easily killed by the Mikaelson family. Except for Klaus and Elijah, who were currently staying with her daughter Antoinette in France. Damn! I should have brought Antoinette and Elijah back with me when I visited them. If Elijah were here, he might be able to hold them off. Greta cursed herself, contemplating her decision not to bring Elijah back with her. Sigh. Cover me. We need to evacuate this place quickly. We can't afford to get caught by those filthy hybrids here. Getting her nerves back, Greta turned towards one of the vampires standing before her to guard her against any potential danger. Hearing Greta, 5 vampires who stayed behind to protect her nodded their heads and turned to look at the Mikaelson family, who were currently massacring their group with hatred. I need to contact Antoinette and ask her to bring Elijah if I need to further proceed with my plan. With a grim face, Greta quickly left through the back door and into the woods behind it. They were now quite far from the hideout where the Mikaelsons attacked. Sigh. Just wait, Nikos. I will erase you and your damn family's existence from the world. After confirming there was no one pursuing her, Greta turned and looked behind her, grumbling in annoyance. Roman, you traitorous son, allying with your father's killer family. You will pay for it. Greta, with the internal monologue of a villain, was about to explain her next plan when, to their dismay, several nets were suddenly thrown at them. Greta and the 2 near her managed to escape the net, but the other 3 were caught by surprise and captured by it. When the net touched their bodies, all 3 of them started to scream in pain, fell, and began struggling inside it. The veins bulging in their bodies, visible on their pained faces, indicated the level of pain and discomfort they were experiencing. Ah, burning, remove it from my body. One of the vampires who got caught by the net looked at their companions and screamed in pain. Hearing them, one of the vampires who escaped was going to help take off the net. Don't touch it, the trap net is attached with vervain leaves. Can't you see? Hearing him, Greta pointed at the small leaf fragments attached to the nets and narrowed her eyes. Boom! Thud! Thud! As Greta became alert and looked around tensely in vigilance, both her companions who escaped the vervain nets were sent flying into the air and slammed into the nearby trees behind them. Where are you looking, bitch? Haley's voice came from behind Greta, who turned to look at her subordinates hanging on the trees like thrown cloths. Boom! Hearing the voice behind her, Greta turned back quickly and was greeted by a punch from Haley, which landed right on her jaw, sending her flying and rolling across the woods. Mother, you said calling someone a bitch is a bad habit. Hope appeared near Haley and teased her mother with a smirk for cursing Greta. Mothers can, but you are not allowed to do it. Do you understand? Haley rolled her eyes and looked at Hope with narrowed eyes and a smile that sent chills down Hope's back. Geez, I was just joking, Mom. Don't be so serious. Hope shook her head and turned her attention towards Greta, who was trying to get away stealthily while they were arguing. With narrowed eyes, Hope raised her other hand and pointed at Greta while her other hand was holding Greta's 2 subordinates on the tree. Ah! Greta, who was prepared to run away, suddenly heard a loud noise in her head, which made her scream in pain while holding her head. She tried to close her ears, but even after closing them, the noise didn't decrease, instead, its volume increased. Where do you think you are going, bitch? Hope looked at Greta, who tried to escape a moment ago, and asked her coldly where she was leaving. She stopped for a moment, looked at Haley with a smirk, and said the last word. Hope. You. Seeing Hope deliberately using the word bitch to address Greta and giving her a teasing smirk, Haley glared at her angrily. Mom, take care of them. I will take care of her. Before Haley could continue, Hope pointed at the subordinates who accompanied Greta and swiftly moved toward Greta. In France. Growl. When Antoinette, Klaus, and Jojo were waiting for Elijah to wake up from his slumber, while Freya was sitting on a stool reading a book and taking a few glances at the ruins to make sure everything was going right, they heard a growl coming from Jojo's stomach. What? I'm hungry. Why are you guys looking at me like that? Jojo, embarrassed by the unexpected growl from his stomach in the quiet room, tried to act it off as normal. Chuckle. Fufu, don't worry. You can go and eat. The process of restoring memory will take at least 3 to 4 days. Seeing the embarrassed look on Jojo's face, Freya couldn't help but chuckle and inform him he could go for a walk and eat something. What? Why so long? Hearing Freya, Jojo was shocked and his eyes widened to know it would take 3 to 4 days. Giggle. Well, more than 1,000 years of memory can't be restored immediately. He needs time to digest those memories, or he won't be able to handle his emotions properly. Looking at Jojo's expression after hearing her, she giggled and explained calmly. Sigh. It means we are stuck here for 3 to 4 days. Then I am going out for a walk. How about you guys? With a defeated sigh, Jojo turned to look at Antoinette and Klaus. I will stay with Elijah. Antoinette shook her head and stated she wanted to stay by Elijah's side until he woke up. I am staying here until Elijah wakes up, even if it takes 100 years. Klaus, not to be outdone, stated his determination after hearing Antoinette and smiled politely at her, but his eyes said different. She looked back at him annoyed. Freya, do you want to accompany me? Rejected by both Antoinette and Klaus, Jojo turned to Freya and awkwardly asked her. Well, sure, let's get some fresh air. After some thinking, Freya stood from the stool and closed the book she was reading. What about Elijah? Seeing Freya preparing to accompany Jojo for a walk, Antoinette interjected worriedly. Yet, we can't take risks in this matter. Klaus also interjected, pointing at Elijah with narrowed eyes. Don't worry, the spell is working perfectly. All you guys need to do is not break the ruins and stay guarded. Now, Jojo, let's go. Freya, rolling her eyes, took Jojo's hand and walked out of the room. After walking for a few minutes while chatting, both Jojo and Freya arrived near a fast food restaurant. Suddenly, Jojo's mobile started ringing. When he answered the call, it was Hope, who informed him that they had successfully captured Greta. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 78, Chapter 73, Damn, Charlie, do you see? I got fans. After walking for a few minutes while chatting, both Jojo and Freya arrived at the fast food restaurant and took their seats at one of the tables in the corner near the glass window. Good evening, sir. How may I assist you? One of the female waiters asked, handing Jojo a menu. I want 1 chicken burger, French fries, and a Coke. Jojo ordered, then passed the menu to Freya. Give me mochi. Freya said, glancing at the menu briefly before ordering. The waiter nodded, took the menu, and left. Why are you looking at me like that? Jojo asked awkwardly, unable to ignore Freya's intense gaze. Well, I was wondering. Freya spoke but was interrupted by 2 waitresses. Sir, are you by chance Jojo, the founder of All Entertainment? One of the waitresses asked nervously, while the other one stared at him. Yet. Jojo nodded in confusion. Hearing his confirmation, both waitresses froze, their eyes widening in shock. Who are these girls? Geez, I was about to make my move by teasing him, and here they come, spoiling my perfect moment. Calm down, Freya, calm down. You are not Klaus, control your rage. Freya thought, feeling annoyed and narrowing her eyes at the woman before regaining her composure. Kia. Ah. The 2 waitresses snapped out of their stupor, screaming and cupping their cheeks, their faces red with excitement. Kia, it's him, Remy. Can you believe it? One of the waitresses exclaimed, hugging her friend. Yes, Amy, didn't I say it's him? You didn't believe me. I saw him once when my friend took me to the shooting set of Home Alone to meet her father. Remy replied with a smirk. What are you girls doing here? Don't disturb our customers. The original waitress, who had taken Jojo's order, returned with their food and reminded them sternly. Sorry, ma'am. Sir, if you don't mind, can we take a picture with you? Amy apologized and asked Jojo nervously, her eyes pleading. Sure, sure. Jojo agreed with a wide smile, feeling pleased that someone had recognized him as a fan. Damn, Charlie, Do you see? I got fans. He thought happily. Jojo stood and posed with the two waitresses for a picture. Ma'am, if you don't mind, can you click a few pictures? Remy handed her mobile to Freya, who took it in confusion and asked her to click a few photos of them with Jojo. Crack. Hearing Remy's request, Freya's eyes widened in shock, and the mobile in her hand cracked. What? My phone? Damn, my father's gonna kill me! Remy exclaimed, taking her mobile phone from Freya hurriedly and leaving the place, followed by Amy, who was consoling her. After the two left, Jojo started eating the food while Freya ate the ice cream she ordered. Suddenly, Jojo's mobile rang. Seeing it was Rosalie calling, Jojo picked it up. Hey, babe, what are you doing? Before Jojo could answer, the voice on the other side interrupted him, sounding irritated. Rose. I miss you. I was feeling hungry, so I came to eat in one of the fast food restaurants here. Jojo replied, smiling weirdly and trying to coax her with sweet words. Don't think I don't know what you're doing there. Aren't you there with the woman named Freya on a dinner date? Hump, thinking you can fool me. Rosalie's anger subdued slightly, but her next sentence made Jojo choke. Cough, cough. Sigh, I'm here at your place. Sarah received a new complaint, so I thought I'd come to accompany you. I won't take no for an answer, Jojo. Believe me. Rosalie said, cutting the call before Jojo could respond. In Forks, at Jojo's house. After some chatting, Rosalie revealed the reason for her call was a new case Sarah had received. Rosalie, desperate to find a reason to visit Jojo, took the opportunity and called him. Before arriving at Jojo's house, Rosalie went to Alice's room but was greeted by a portrait Alice was drawing, showing Ben eating with a woman at a dinner table happily. Annoyed by the sight, she decided to participate in the next case and cut the call before Jojo could reply. In France. Sigh. Seeing that Rosalie knew Freya was with him, Jojo sighed defeatedly. Alice must have told her or she must have seen the portraits Alice drew, he thought. Jojo got up and walked to the wash basin to wash his hands. After finishing their dinner, Jojo and Freya left the fast food restaurant. While walking, Jojo called Sarah, who was currently connected to his phone, and asked her to send the details of the new case to his mobile. After getting the full information Sarah received from the client, Jojo started reading the case with narrowed eyes, looking serious. Seeing Jojo immersed in reading, Freya didn't disturb him. He seems absorbed in the documents, which seem important. Sigh, I want to ask who he spoke with on his mobile. According to the conversation, they must be close. It must be one of his mates. Why am I even thinking about whom he speaks with? Hey! It's for Hope, yeah, it's for Hope. Freya convinced herself. Case details. Client name, Louis Creed. Case details, it's my fault. I shouldn't have done it. I have made a grave mistake. I thought I could bring my daughter back, but the one who returned was not my daughter. It was a demon in my daughter's skin. Please reply as soon as you guys receive this case. I don't know when she will do anything to my family. I shouldn't have buried her in that damn pet cemetery. Contact details, asterisk. Case registered, successfully. After reading the case, Jojo knew how dangerous that pet cemetery was. He didn't hesitate to call the number in the report. Can I read it? Freya asked, curious about the serious expression on Jojo's face. Jojo handed his mobile to Freya for her to read the case details. Interesting. According to the information provided here, he somehow resurrected his dead daughter, but instead of his real daughter, a demon took her place in her body. Hey! Freya became intrigued. Can I tag along? It seems interesting. Freya asked, intrigued. Sure. Jojo nodded, trying to call Louis again, hoping to instruct him not to do anything stupid until he arrived. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review in Power Stone. Chapter 79, Chapter 74, Warning Louis to Keep Secret. When Jojo tried to call Louis, who was his new client, to warn him about the impending danger looming over his family and the village, the call didn't connect. Damn! Seeing Louis not picking up the call, Jojo cursed and instructed Jenny to put this case in the level 4 category. He also asked her to try and contact the client to warn him not to do something stupid before they arrived there. After a few minutes of walking, Jojo and Freya entered Elijah's place and walked inside the room where Elijah was lying in the ruins, unconscious. There, Jojo informed Klaus that he needed to return home due to an important case. What case needs urgent attention? I heard you have a team who attends these cases in your stead, right? Noticing Jojo was in a hurry, Klaus raised an eyebrow curiously. Before coming here, Hope told Klaus about Jojo and how he is from an organization or something that solves supernatural cases. Klaus might be angered easily, but he is not a fool. According to his sisters Freya, Haley, and Hope, Jojo is very strong. Well, it's a level 4 category, which may take many lives silently before others could find out if it's left alone for a long time. Hearing Klaus's inquiry, Jojo explained to him patiently. When implementing DMC, Jojo and Jenny decided to divide the cases into level categories according to the difficulty and potential. Harmless ghosts, psycho killers, and frauds come under the level 1 category. While ghosts who were corrupted by darkness and only wanted to kill, evil cults, normal humans, cursed objects with minor curses, and curses that cause minor damage to the person who is affected by it are under the level 2 category. Demonic spirits, lesser demons, vampires, werewolves, shapeshifters, cold ones, cursed objects with dangerous curses, and curses that are life-threatening to the person who is affected by them are classified under the level 3 category. Based on the knowledge Jojo had, he divided the levels. If they come in contact with something more potent than this, then they will increase the level category like level 4, level 5, level 6, etc. Before this case, there was only one level 4 case registered, which was Pennywise, and now this is the second one in the level 4 category. Listening to Jojo's explanation, Klaus, Antoinette, and Freya were impressed and asked how many cases Jojo had solved. ______. Sigh. I have completed many levels 1 and 2. A few in level 3, but in level 4 this is my second one. Jojo answered them and was preparing to take his leave. Seeing Jojo was about to leave, Freya hurriedly took a book and gave it to Elijah, who took the book confusedly. I am going to tag along with Jojo. When you guys arrive in New Orleans, give this book to Hope. On the 254th page, there is a spell and detailed requirements for changing the sire line. Ask Hope to perform it on Antoinette before killing Greta or letting Antoinette meet her. Freya instructed Klaus about the next step they needed to take after Elijah woke up. ______. You are going with him. Hearing Freya intended to follow Jojo to where he came from, Klaus questioned Freya with narrowed eyes. Sigh. Believe me, Klaus, you were not there when Jojo investigated one of the old churches for a clue on a demon. I need to know more about this side of the world. If you want to know more, ask Haley. With a sigh, Freya spoke while walking to the side of Jojo. In Forks, Cullen's house. It was a rainy day. Carlisle went to the hospital as usual while Esme stayed at home. She was preparing to visit Jenny to pass the time until her sons and daughters arrived home. Due to the rainy day, all of them went to school. If it was before, she would do some cooking, different dishes or difficult dishes to pass the time. But now that Jojo and Jenny's family have become acquainted with them, she will spend time there, or she will invite Jenny here to have women's talks with her to pass the time. Forks High School. Alice was sitting in the botany class while the seat beside her was empty where Jojo was sitting. Ugh, it's boring. When will you come, Jojo? Alice lay on the desk with a little pout. It's been more than 2 months since Jojo left Forks to attend to one of the cases and went to investigate an old church. She could see Jojo with her gift, seeing what he was doing from time to time. Last night, when Rosalie visited Jojo's house to give them food cooked by Esme, who went a little overboard since they can't eat normal human food, they gave it to them. When Rosalie heard about the new case, she took the chance to be with Jojo and came home with a huge grin on her face. When she told Alice that she was going to travel with Jojo, with a huge smirk on her face. Ring, ring. Damn. I won't be left alone, I will also tag along with Jojo, humph. With determination, Alice completed her inner monologue and left the class to meet with the other Cullens at the cafeteria since it was a lunch break. She, along with Emmett and Jess, met with others near the lockers and went to the cafeteria. Suddenly, Alice froze, her eyes turned white as she went into a trance state. Seeing this, the other Cullens waited patiently for Alice's vision to finish. After a few minutes, Alice broke from the trance state, indicating her vision was complete. "Are you okay, Alice?" Bella, who came along with Edward, asked worriedly at Alice. "Jojo has arrived at the airport." Alice's face lit up, and she told the others about Jojo's arrival with a wide smile. "Oh, it's been 2 months since I last saw him." Hearing Alice, who was happily jumping in excitement, Bella thought about the boy who she thought was a normal human like her in the circle. This time he is going to solve this new case with me. Who knows how many days it takes?" Rosalie, who was supporting Alice, grinned and her thoughts became wild thinking about how both Jojo and she were going to spend time solving the case. ___________. I am coming too, and Jojo is not alone. He is with Freya, the woman in the portrait. Looking at Rosalie's grin, Alice retorted that she would also accompany Jojo and inform her about Freya. __________. What? What is she doing with Jojo? When Rosalie heard Jojo was bringing the woman he went on a dinner date with according to her, tagging along, her face turned grim. Bastard, how dare he! Rosalie started to curse Jojo in rage that he was bringing another woman with him. They arrived at the cafeteria with their usual dramatic entry. All the eyes in the cafeteria were on them when they entered the cafeteria and took their usual spot. When Eric and his group saw the Cullens usually took the same spot, they turned their attention back and started chatting. "It's been 2 months since I last saw Jojo, do you have any idea why he is on a long leave?" Jessica asked Eric, who started eating the food after the Cullens took their seats. "I don't know. Maybe he changed schools or some accident might have happened which needed a long break to recover." Mike, who heard Jessica, answered her with a smirk and took a bite of his food. "You can ask Bella about it, right? She always hangs out with that Edward." Mike pointed at Edward and gave his opinion on this matter to Jessica. Jenny picked up Jojo and Freya from the airport in her car. "Were you able to contact Louis, Jenny?" Jojo asked Jenny seriously after some light conversation. Sigh. "No, Jojo, but we are still trying to contact him, but he is not answering any calls." With a sigh, Jenny started to shake her head. They arrived at Jojo's house. When they entered the house, they were greeted by Alex, who was playing with the PlayStation. "Sarah, were you able to locate Louis?" Jojo, after patting Alex's head, asked Sarah, who welcomed him home. "Yes, sir. The case was filed from the village Ludlow, Maine." Sarah gave the location from where the case was filed. "In Ludlow." Ring, ring. Louis, who lost his mobile in the woods, finally found it ringing and took the mobile and saw the caller ID. He answered the call and placed the mobile to his ear. His bloody eyes had dark circles under them, indicating he hadn't slept well for the past few days. "In Forks." "Sir, the call connected." After the call connected, Sarah informed Jojo immediately about it. Jojo immediately put the call on speaker and started the conversation. "Is this Louis? We are from DMC. The room became silent as Jojo started the conversation immediately. Yes, yes, please save us, sir. Hearing Jojo is from DMC, Louis pleaded desperately, asking them to help them. No matter what, your daughter must not find out about this matter, otherwise your family will be in danger. After calming down Louis, Jojo instructed him not to do anything stupid and to act normal before his daughter until they arrived there and complained to him regarding his daughter's not finding out about this matter. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review in Power Stone. Chapter 80, Chapter 75, Returning to Forks. After instructing and cautioning Louis about the danger his daughter poses to his family and asking for clear details regarding the case he filed on DMC, Jojo sighed. Hearing DMC would solve his daughter's problem, Louis had a sigh of relief. Even though he was skeptical about how DMC was going to stop his daughter from harming him and his family. All these days he had been searching for a way to solve the problem he created, but no matter what, he couldn't find a solution, and he couldn't escape from this damn village. Whenever he tried to move his family out of the town, they would be held back by various reasons such as accidents, poor climate, weird animals committing or attacking their car or them, etc. After collecting the necessary information regarding the case, Jojo sat on the couch. Here. What do you think about this case? What does it mean to resurrect death? Is it true? Jenny went to the kitchen, brewed hot steaming tea, gave it to Jojo, and asked curiously. Well, instead of saying resurrecting, you can say possession. Analyzing the new information, Jojo explained some details about what was happening to Louis's family. Just hope that little devil didn't kill anyone and start burying them. Jojo shook his head in deep thought. He knew in the first part of the pet cemetery that Louis, who couldn't accept his daughter's death and wanted to bring her back to life, committed the most taboo act. Which is to bury his daughter Ellie Creed on the land behind the pet cemetery. To which everything goes wrong from there, and eventually his wife and he are killed by Ellie's hand, and later all three are turned into what Ellie is. But the true horror of the land behind the pet cemetery is revealed in the second part of the pet cemetery, which is a prequel to the first part, where it shows how dangerous it is. If the one resurrected were to be left alone for a long time, they would slowly but surely try to increase their population by killing and resurrecting the victims and turning them into one of them. When Ben was lying comfortably on the sofa, Freya looked around the house curiously and saw a bookshelf. She walked towards it to see if anything was interesting. _______. Noticing this was just a collection of fantasy stories with a lost interest, she took one story to pass the time. After chatting with Jenny and playing a few games with Alex, Jojo went to his room to get some sleep. After the classes had ended, both Rosalie and Alice hurriedly took Rosalie's car and left the school. Honk! Honk! They arrived at Jojo's house and with anticipation parked the car near Jenny's car and entered the house. Jojo! Jojo! Oh, isn't Freya, I am Alice. Both Rosalie and Alice entered the house hurriedly and were about to call Jojo loudly to let him know about their presence but were stopped by the sight of Freya who was sitting on a couch reading a book. Seeing the sudden arrival of two ladies before her, Freya raised an eyebrow. Alice walked towards Freya and extended her hand towards Freya and introduced herself. _______. You know me. Hearing Alice mention her name and her enthusiastic approach, Freya felt confused about how Alice knew her name and tried to think if she had met this enthusiastic girl before. She could also say that the two girls before her are not human or not anymore, noticing the lack of a heartbeat she would normally hear when she comes in contact with a human. Both Rosalie and Alice looked pale but didn't lose their charm. Are they the cold ones Jojo mentioned? Were the thoughts of Freya noticing the two teenage girls before her. One was smiling at her while the other one was looking at her with narrowed eyes. Chuckle. Of course, I knew. I am Jojo's mate. He told me a lot about you guys, and she is Rosalie, she is also Jojo's mate. Noticing the confused look on Freya, who was trying hard to remember her. Alice chuckled and introduced herself, and Rosalie, who was glaring at Freya. Is that so? I am Freya Mikaelson, friend of Jojo. Freya shook hands with Alice with a friendly smile. I am going to Jojo's room. Rosalie, who heard Jojo's breathing from his room, immediately left in a flash and entered the room. Hey! It's my turn. Seeing Rosalie take the opportunity and enter Jojo's room, Alice trailed behind her in a hurry. Sigh. It seems you have a quiet competition here. Hope. I should research how mate bonds form. Hey, it's for the sake of hope. With a sigh, Freya looked at Jojo's room, which was invaded by the two beauties when he was asleep. Jojo slowly woke from his sleep and was about to get up from the bed, but was pulled back by two arms from both sides. ________. Alice. Rosalie. Noticing the hands that pulled him back to the bed belonged to Alice and Rosalie, who were lying beside him on his sides. What? Did you expect your new girlfriends to be here? Looking at the shocked face, Jojo gave them waking from the sober. Rosalie pouted and pointed her finger at Jojo's cheek with narrowed eyes in accusation. ________. No, it's not like that. Hearing Rosalie, Jojo tried to reason with her but was countered by double accusations. After scolding Jojo for leaving them and staying far away for 2 months, Rosalie's anger subsided. Even though Alice didn't say anything openly, Jojo knew staying away from their mates for 2 months after meeting them after waiting for all those years would cause them pain. Sigh. Sorry, Rose. This time the case is tricky, so I need to stay there to thoroughly investigate, even though I failed to find the demon they summoned. My instinct screamed to me that I needed to hunt the demon down as soon as possible. But unfortunately, I still couldn't find any lead on it. It somehow managed to escape me. With a sigh, Jojo consoled both of them with a tight hug and explained his situation to them. Hump. Next time take us with you. Rosalie, who heard Jojo's explanation, puffed her cheeks in annoyance. She had already once heard his explanation through mobile when he was staying in New Orleans. Yeah, you need to take us with you. Alice nodded and rubbed her face on Jojo's chest like a cat asking to be petted. After consoling both Rosalie and Alice with kisses, all three of them left the room. 3 months before. In Ludlow. Louis and his family were moving to the new house he bought after he got transferred to Ludlow. Louis had taken a job as the director of the campus health service at the University of Maine. The family consists of 4 people: Louis, his wife Rachel, his daughter Ellie, whose age is 8, and his son Gage, whose age is 3. To reach their new house, they needed to pass through a small village at the entrance of the forest and go deep inside the forest. As their car delved deeper into the forest, Ellie became scared, peering out at the quiet surroundings through the window. Only the sound of their car could be heard. Daddy, why is our new home deep inside the forest? Ellie asked Louis, her voice tinged with fear as she gazed at the dense trees outside. She was born and raised in Chicago, and this was the first time she had ventured into a village or a forest area. Despite her apprehension, she felt a sense of excitement, eager to explore this unfamiliar environment. Sigh. Sigh. Don't be scared, Ellie. You will like our new home. I promise. Wink. Louis reassured Ellie, not knowing what lay ahead. He winked at her, trying to ease her fears and build her anticipation for their new life. Giggle giggle. Hearing her father's attempt to lighten the mood, Ellie giggled and once again turned her attention to the window, filled with expectations fueled by her dad's boasting. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 81, Chapter 76, Don't try to open the thing which is closed. A/N Hi guys. I am sorry for not being able to update regularly last month because I was searching for a job, but I couldn't find any. From now on, I am going to upload chapters regularly. Update schedule. Monday, Tuesday, Ghost Rider in Twilight /TVD/2. Wednesday, Thursday, forced by OAA to be his successor. Friday, Saturday, in Black Clover with Grimoire of Omnitrix. Louis and his family arrived at their destination, and he parked his car near a house. After the car came to a halt, a black dog suddenly jumped in front of their car, eyeing the family who was shocked by the sudden arrival of a dog. Growl. The dog started to growl at them without taking its eyes off them. Gulp. Seeing the dog growling at them, Louis, Rachel, and Ellie gulped, feeling the ominous aura emitted from the black dog that suddenly appeared before their car, scaring them a little. After standing still for a few seconds and growling at them, the dog suddenly started to run into the forest at full speed. Noticing the black dog had disappeared into the forest, there was an awkward silence in the car. Cough, cough. Don't mind it. It's just a street dog. Louis coughed to defuse the tension and got out of the car, followed by Rachel who was carrying Gage. Ellie, who noticed the house before them, looked at it in awe. The house was a large, old, and charming New England-style home. It sat on a spacious piece of land with a big front yard and a forested area behind it. The house was much bigger and more spacious than their previous house. Chuckle. Do you like our new house, Ellie? Noticing Ellie's reaction, Louis chuckled and asked her opinion on their new house, which they were going to live in from now on. This whole place is ours. Ellie exclaimed in shock and excitement upon hearing Louis say they were going to live in such a big house. Louis nodded his head with a grin on his face and opened the door. Creak. He put down the things he was carrying on the floor. Rachel, still carrying Gage, went inside the house to look around while Ellie was in the front yard looking around. Louis came out while chatting with the curious Ellie. Suddenly, a huge truck passed through the mud road at high speed, startling Louis and Ellie who were standing in the front yard. Rachel, who was inside the house, came out in a hurry after the truck passed, looking concerned. They settled into the house. The next day, Louis went to join his new workplace while Rachel, Ellie, and Gage stayed at the house. Rachel was disposing of the waste after cleaning their new house in the garbage can. Dump, dump. Suddenly, they heard a drumming sound from the forest beside their house. Curiously, both of them went into the forest to look for the source of the drumming. When they entered the forest, they saw a group of kids carrying a cat somewhere while wearing creepy masks with animal faces. Mom, what are they doing? Ellie asked, looking at the group of kids her age carrying a cat while wearing weird masks. It's a sad parade, Ellie. Even though Rachel didn't know the details, she understood from the look of it that those kids were going to bury someone's pet. One girl wearing a cat mask among the group of kids suddenly stopped, turned, looked at Ellie for a second, and then left. Let's go, Ellie. I have a lot of work to do. Rachel called Ellie, who was looking at the path where the kids left and tried to leave. Ellie, who was about to follow, noticed another house near the woods, and at the windows of the house, she noticed someone watching her leave. After they returned home, Rachel went to do housework while Ellie was watching her favorite show, SpongeBob. But her mind was still on the group of kids they met in the forest. She was curious about where they went. Noticing her mother was busy in the kitchen, she left the house, entered the forest, and started following the trails left behind by the kids. After following for a few minutes, she arrived at a weird cemetery and noticed a wooden board stating Pet Cemetery. Even though looking at the cemetery before her felt creepy, she looked around and suddenly noticed the path she was following was blocked by many wooden trunks and rocks. Don't climb it, girl. She tried to climb the wooden trunks to bypass the blockage but was stopped by an old, deep voice from behind her. Startled by the voice, Ellie fell from the spot she climbed. Ouch! Seeing Ellie was hurt, the old man checked Ellie's injury. After seeing there was no serious injury, the old man helped Ellie stand up and introduced himself as Judd Crandall. While Judd was telling Ellie about the pet cemetery and how the nearby town folks come here to bury their pets. Rachel arrived at the pet cemetery angrily and started scolding Ellie for coming deep inside the forest alone without informing her. There, Ellie introduced the old man who helped her to her mother. After that, both of them left the pet cemetery while Rachel was still scolding Ellie for not informing her. Days passed. During this time, Louis' family and Judd became acquaintances. One day, Louis invited Judd to his house for dinner and asked about how long his property extended. Judd explained that Louis's property included the pet cemetery and also extended very deep into the forest. When Judd mentioned the pet cemetery, suddenly Louis's face changed, and he remembered the illusion he had in the hospital when he tried to save one of the patients. Even though all his efforts went in vain, when he was washing his blood-stained hands in the washroom, he saw the dead person who had died a moment ago standing behind him with a bloodied face in the mirror. "Don't try to open the thing which is closed." When Louis turned back in shock, the dead person screamed in a coarse voice and vanished. When Louis noticed it was just an illusion, he sighed, not knowing that this was the starting point that would cause a big disaster for his family. After dinner with Judd, they sent him off and went to the house to fall asleep. At midnight, Louis woke up to the sudden noise of a truck passing through the road at high speed. Sigh. With a sigh, he closed his eyes and tried to sleep but opened his eyes to the voice of someone calling him to come outside. Louis left the room and walked towards the back door where the voice was calling him, confused about who would come at midnight. "Please follow me, Louis." When he opened the door, he saw the same man who had died earlier at the hospital looking at him from behind a tree and calling him to follow in a creepy, low voice. ****. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 82, Chapter 77, I Need to See It. When Louis saw the man who had died before him in the hospital standing there, half of his face was covered in blood. Thud. Gulp. Noticing the dead man standing before him once again, Louis's eyes widened in shock. He took a few steps back, his face going pale. "Please follow me, Louis." The man spoke in a low, creepy voice, slowly turning around and starting to walk into the dense fog. Phew. Taking a few deep breaths, Louis stepped outside to check if he was hallucinating again. But the moment he stepped through the door, he realized he was standing in the middle of the forest, and the house he had just exited was no longer there. "I am dead, but you tried your very best to save my life. I feel indebted to you." The dead man spoke while walking forward. "Victor Pascal. Is that you?" Louis called out to the man walking ahead, a little skeptically. Victor Pascal was the name of the patient who had died when Louis tried to save him at the hospital. "Let me show you something." Victor walked into the dense fog, and when Louis followed, he found himself before the path blockage in the pet cemetery. Louis looked left and right to spot Victor, but he couldn't find him anywhere. When Louis tried to climb the blockage, a hand suddenly emerged from inside it and pulled him in. "Ah!" Gasp. When Louis opened his eyes, he was in his bed while his son was preparing to jump on him to wake him up. "Fuck, what is this freaky dream?" He cursed in his mind, catching his son in midair as he jumped. "What the?" When he lifted the quilt to get up from the bed, he noticed his feet were covered in mud. "Gage, don't disturb your father." Rachel entered the bedroom, collecting clothes for laundry. Noticing his wife had entered the room, Louis covered his feet with the quilt and looked through the window with shocked eyes. "Why are my feet covered in mud? Was meeting Victor a dream or real? Did I meet Victor's ghost?" These were the only questions on his mind while looking at the forest through the window. When he first saw the forest, it felt beautiful and green, but now it looked very mysterious. Days passed. On Sunday, Ellie had invited her new friends from school to the house to play with them. When Louis was chatting with the kids, he noticed Judd standing at the corner of the road, signaling him to come out. Seeing Judd's gesture and his serious face, Louis came out of the house, confused. "What happened, Judd? Why are you standing here?" Louis asked Judd, glancing at the kids who were chatting in front of the house. Sigh. Well, look at this. Judd removed a cover beside his leg, revealing Church, the family pet, with a dead body bearing bloody puncture wounds on his side and blood crusted on his nose and mouth. Jesus, what happened? Louis exclaimed in shock, seeing Church's condition. Wild dog. All kinds of animals in those woods, or might be hit by that truck when he came outside. Judd patiently explained the possibilities of how Church had died. Sigh. It's already going stiff. With a sigh, Louis checked Church's body to see if there were any vitals. We must not let Ellie find out. Louis covered the body again and asked Judd not to explain it to his daughter. At night, after consoling Ellie that Church would come home soon and putting her to bed, Rachel walked towards Louis, who was sitting quietly and thinking deeply. Church is dead. When Rachel came near, Louis explained to her that Church was dead. How? Rachel was shocked and asked how Church had died. Louis explained what had happened earlier to Rachel. The topic slowly drifted to Rachel's past traumatic incident. At midnight, suddenly, Judd called Louis to come to the pet cemetery to bury the Church. When Louis arrived, he was shocked to see the same place he had seen in his dream where Victor had taken him. This is the right place to dig a pit. Judd pointed at a spot he had selected to bury Church. Hearing him, Louis nodded and started digging a pit with the shovel Judd handed him. That's my dog Biffer right there. Judd pointed at a few graves before them, trying to console Louis, who looked emotional. Sigh. Death changes you when you're a kid. Gets into your bones. Louis shook his head with a defeated look, not knowing how he was going to console his daughter. Judd. While Louis was digging, a whisper entered Judd's ear, giving him goosebumps. Mr. Louis, do you love your daughter? Will you do anything for her? Judd, who had stopped talking for a few minutes, suddenly asked an irrelevant question. Yeah. I will do anything. Louis answered immediately, not knowing the weight of the words he had just spoken. Then stop digging. Follow me. Judd responded by taking Church's body and asking Louis to follow him. Louis also stopped digging and followed Judd curiously. I need to see it. Judd started climbing the blockage, asking Louis to follow close behind him. See what, Judd? Judd ignored Louis's question, walking toward the deadfall. Louis followed, holding the shovel in his hand, stumbling in the dark. Judd was already climbing, scrambling over dead branches. Where the hell are you going? Louis asked while climbing the blockage right behind Judd. Judd disappeared over the top of the deadfall blockage. Louis dropped to the ground on the other side. He took a few cautious steps, shovel still gripped in his hand, scanning the dark trees. There was no sign of Judd. Suddenly, Louis noticed Judd's flashlight and hurriedly followed him, shouting at him to wait. Louis pushed through the trees, losing the trail. It was pitch black as dead branches scraped at his arms. He paused, noticing something carved into the trunk of a tree. Seeing the weird symbols, he blurred out for a second and came to consciousness when Judd called out to him. The sound of voices long dead. A whisper entered Judd's ear when he blurred out. Louis saw Judd standing in a low swamp with clumps of grass jutting out of the black water. Fog curled as Judd waded into the shallow marsh. What the hell are you doing? Louis cursed while entering the swamp. Judd ignored him, wading into the water. Louis came to the edge of the bog and paused, his vision blurring again. The darkness is alive. Once again, Louis heard whispers from the woods. Over there. Judd paused in the water, pointing at something. When Louis followed the direction, he saw a circular mound of dirt sticking out of the marsh. Bury your cat here. Hearing Judd ask him to bury Church there, Louis was confused and asked why. Judd, are we doing anything wrong by burying Church here? Louis asked suspiciously, noticing Judd's weird behavior. No, it's the right choice to bury your cat here. Judd reassured him. Having Judd's reassurance, Louis dug a pit and buried Church. Both of them then left the place. The next day, the sun rose. Louis and Rachel were waiting for Ellie to wake up in her room to inform her about Church's death and console her. "It's about Church, honey. Judd and I went to look for him last night. Remember how I was telling you how sometimes when cats move to a new home, they get the urge to explore?" Rachel tried to explain gently. "It's okay. He didn't run away." Looking at her parents confusedly, Ellie explained that Church didn't run away. "He was outside my window last night, so I let him in." Both Louis and Rachel were stunned. Seeing this, Ellie pointed at the window and explained how she had met Church early in the morning. Louis noticed cat prints on the comforter and thick black mud. His blood turned to ice cold. No, it can't be Church." Trying to push the unwanted thought out of his mind, Louis tried to explain that the cat was not Church. It might be one of their neighbors' cats. "No, it wasn't. Look." Ellie shook her head in denial and pointed towards the cupboard. Creak, creak. Both Louis and Rachel turned slowly towards the cupboard, which was slowly opening. Meow. Church was standing before them in the cupboard, looking at them without breaking eye contact. "Shit. Did I fuck up?" Louis's eyes widened in shock. His hands trembled as he cursed what had just happened. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 83, Chapter 78, please. Don't do it. You will regret it. When Ellie mentioned how Church arrived just early morning before sunrise, both Louis and Rachel's faces changed, showing different reactions. With a confused look on his face, Louis looked at the windows and the floors where the marks of mud with cat paws led inside the room. When Ellie pointed at Church, who was standing inside the cupboard, Louis looked shocked while Rachel looked at him skeptically. "Shit. Did I fuck up?" were the only thoughts in his mind because he knew Church was dead yesterday. Rachel was giving him a what the fuck look. He shook his head, completely at a loss, reeling. There was no chance of survival or life signs when he examined his cat yesterday, it even had several broken bones that seemed to be crushed. Gulp. Taking a few breaths, Louis took a few steps forward to examine the cat to know if it was Church. The cat's hair was standing still as if expressing goosebumps. Louis knelt, reading the cat's collar, Churchill. But Louis's eyes contracted in fear, looking at the blood marks visible on the areas where Church's bones had been crushed yesterday. "Easy. Just want to take a look." Not able to believe what he was seeing, Louis went forward to examine Church. Hiss. To his surprise, the gentle Church suddenly hissed at him with aggression like he was its enemy, which startled him. Ouch. Louis pulled his hand back when Church suddenly attacked him. After attacking him, Church immediately ran out of the room, which made him feel something was wrong. Seeing Church run away from her dad, Ellie ran after him to prevent it from running away once again. Judd's house. With a grumpy face, Louis arrived at Judd's house to question him about what happened to Church and how the cat came back alive. Whack! The axe came down, splitting a piece of wood. Judd glanced up at Louis, a cigarette smoldering in his mouth as he set another piece of wood on the stump. Louis. Noticing Louis coming toward him in a hurry, Judd called him confusedly. "What's going on?" "Church is walking around over there like nothing happened." Looking at the calm Judd who was smoking, Louis nearly shouted out but controlled his anger and asked him his questions. Underscore. That's what you wanted, wasn't it? Hearing Louis's continuous questions, Judd asked him calmly. Underscore. Louis became silent when Judd gave a simple answer. That cat was dead, Judd. His body was getting stiff. With determination, Louis continued pestering Judd with his questions. Sigh. Ellie happy he's back? Then leave it alone. Whack. After just stating that Ellie was happy, Judd once again started to cut the wooden blocks. Louis's house. After dinner, Rachel took Ellie and Gage to their bed to sleep while Louis was thinking about what had happened that day. Along with his conversation with Judd, he started to feel something was amiss that he didn't know. He took his laptop and started to research his house, the pet cemetery, and the village to see if he could find any clues. The search brought results that made his eyes widen in shock, and fear started to creep into his heart looking at the search results. Many articles stated that in 1969 many died horribly, and the villagers claimed that demons from the pet cemetery were the ones who killed them. But later, it was announced it was a serial murderer who killed his friends, family, neighbors, and at last himself. While scrolling down, he found that similar murder cases took place in this area in 1929, 1901, 1889, 1878, and 1818, all somehow connected to the pet cemetery. His thoughts drifted to Church, who refused to eat anything, even its favorite food. But Louis could not help but find that everything with Church seemed wrong. Dad! Suddenly, Louis heard his daughter calling him and hurried to her room. There he found that Church had attacked Ellie when she tried to comb its hair. After consoling her and giving her first aid, Louis was about to leave the room, but Ellie stopped him and asked him to close the door completely to prevent Church from entering the room. She was scared of him now. After consoling Ellie to sleep, Louis went to his room and had a moment with his wife, but it was spoiled by Church carrying a half-eaten crow on his bed. Ouch! When Louis tried to carry Church out of the room, it bit his hand and ran to the basement. Looking in the direction where his cat ran, Louis angrily walked to the basement. Suddenly, the scenario changed into a forest when he entered the door. There he saw Victor looking at him standing opposite him. You are going to lose everything, family, happiness, and peace. Honk, honk. After shouting, Victor vanished, and suddenly a truck at high speed tried to hit him. When he fell, he was back inside the basement, taking heavy breaths in an adrenaline rush. While he was experiencing the illusion in the basement, his wife was experiencing another illusion where she saw her older sister dying as she did when she was a little girl, through the mirror. After the illusion ended, she rushed out of the room, hugged Louis, and told him about the illusion she had just now. Sigh. With a sigh, Louis consoled her, saying the reason they moved here was because Rachel experienced a similar illusion in their old house. So it was not new to the couple that Rachel experienced illusions. The next day, when Louis looked at one of the drawings on the paper, which looked very disturbing, he immediately went to Ellie to ask her about it. Ellie, did you draw this? No. Gage drew it. Hearing that the one who drew the drawing was Gage, who couldn't even walk properly, Louis asked his daughter. Did you see him draw? After Ellie shook her head and said she found the drawing in Gage's hand, Louis looked confused. He went to see if his son was all right, but when he arrived, he saw Church hissing and trying to attack Gage, who looked very scared. He hurriedly lifted Gage in his arms while Church ran away. After this incident, he went to comfort Judd and tell him what happened. Hearing what happened in Louis's house, Judd apologized to him sincerely and told him his side of the story where he once buried his dog there, which came back alive. But after that, his dog behaved violently, attacking many people, which led to the incident where he killed it with his own hands. Judd asked Louis to kill the Church to prevent it from causing anything serious. Coming back to his house, Louis caught Church, who was acting very violently, but he couldn't prepare himself to kill it. So without Ellie knowing, he took it with him and dropped the cat in one of the forests, away from 2 villages from his house. After 2 days, Louis and his family were preparing for Ellie's birthday party when all the guests arrived and celebrated her birthday happily. On that very day, Ellie died in an accident when she ran to Church, which had returned, traveling all the way here, and was hit by the very truck which always traveled fast on this road. After burying Ellie, the atmosphere in the house became depressed. Louis sent his wife, who was in PTSD, and his son to Rachel's parents' house to help her recover. When the car left, Louis's eyes landed on Judd's house, and his gaze became firm. On the night after chatting with Judd and sending him off, Louis went to the cemetery and started digging Ellie's grave. He carried Ellie's body in his arms and went to the land behind the pet cemetery where he and Judd once buried Church to bring it back alive. On his way, he met Victor, who tried to stop him, but he didn't heed his advice. With a solemn look, Victor's spirit vanished from the forest. After burying Ellie there, Louis went home with the hope Ellie would come back alive. But he didn't know this was the decision that would take everything from his grasp all at once. At Rachel's parents' house, Rachel heard Gage screaming. When she went to her son's room, Gage informed her, looking very scared. Victor said, "Don't come here. Mom. Victor asks us to go home as soon as possible." Hearing Victor's name, Rachel was shocked. She had heard Louis mention a boy named Victor who died when he tried to save him on his first day of work. Creak, creak. At midnight, Louis woke from his sleep and went downstairs, hearing the sound of the door being opened. Dad. When he was looking at the door which was opened, Louis saw the footprints in the mud there. Suddenly, a voice came from behind him. Feeling a little scared, Louis turned back and saw Ellie standing before him, alive. Present day. Ludlow, Maine. Jojo and the gang arrived at the forest in a car they had rented after arriving here, looking around curiously. Edward, this is your first time, right? Looking at the EMO on the back seat, staring through the window without spacing out. Meanwhile, Alice and Freya were having a girls' talk in whispers. Rosalie was sitting in the front along with Jojo, who was driving the car. The forest looks amazing, though we came when it's night. Rosalie looked curiously at the very silent forest. Well, this forest holds something more scary than you think. Hearing Rosalie mention how beautiful the forest is, Jojo commented, looking in one direction. He had already felt the disgusting aura and spell coming from inside the forest, which got stronger with each passing minute as they ventured deep into their location. Asterisk. Author's POV. Thanks for reading the chapter. Please give a review and Power Stone. Chapter 84, Chapter 79, Ghost Rider, It's My Pet, Biffer. A/N from this chapter, I will refer to when MC is in Ghost Rider transformation as a Ghost Rider. When he is human I will refer to him as Jojo. Ludlow, Maine. When Jojo and the others arrived at the village with the car they had rented, Alice and Freya seemed to be having girl talk with each other, wide smiles on their faces. To the left of Alice,